If you've ever thought, why not us? Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and a good luck to the U.S. men's national team later tonight. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It's Wednesday, it's hot, and we're one day closer to the 4th of July. I hope that you all had a wonderful Tuesday evening. We're back for another packed show for you here today. We do have Tim Melvin joining us today as our regular guest. I just talked to him last night. He is excited to talk to you folks. Can't wait to bring him on. We also have another All Access today, and as per usual, we're going to cover the news, the Nike fallout, everything else that's going on, as well as the movers. I'm absolutely stoked to have you back. It is the first day of July. It is the first day of the third quarter, and it is the first day of the second half of the year. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for July 1st, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We're back for another day here today, and it is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Wherever you are, I hope that you're surviving the heat wave, whether it be Europe or here in the States. It is hot out there. 105 here in Chicago. It's going to be a good one. But we're going to have a good one here, and we've got a market day to take care of first. Let me welcome everybody back here this morning. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. It is great to see you. You are first here today. Early bird gets the worm, or the trade, as it may be. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Rustam, good morning. Welcome back. Wiss, it's great to see you, as always. Robert, likewise. Crispy Biscuit, likewise. I do love a good crispy biscuit on the outside, soft on the, okay, enough of that. Good to see you. Jim, good morning, welcome back. EKS, good morning, welcome back. And indeed, I'll throw this out there too. RIP Victor Willis at the age of 74 from the Village People. Sad to see, but it's good to see you, EKS. Liam, welcome back. Good to see you again as well. Jay Wild, good morning, y'all. I love it, man. It's good to see you, boss. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Haven't been early in a while. Well, there's no better day to turn that around than today, buddy. Good morning and welcome back. Richard Judge, good morning and welcome back. Producer, thanks for all you do, especially yesterday when I'm dealing with tech issues and you're doing everything you can to try to plug the holes and keep the boat floating. We appreciate you, man. Sometimes I don't think you get enough public recognition. Thanks for doing everything that you do. Brian says, Blue Chew ads, how old do they think I am? Bro, I see Blue Chew ads every day. It doesn't even seem to matter. Sex sells, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's the only answer I have. John, good morning. Welcome back. Yassine, good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, it's great to see you again. Jason, welcome. Jason says, CNBC garbage. Don't watch that show anymore and you'll make money. Yeah, you should watch our show instead. We will try to help you identify things to make money. Jeff, I think the big important thing here is that when you're a market participant, it's you that's going to make money. You're going to take in information and different data and different opinions and synthesize it into a trade. And at the end of the day, it's going to be you that makes that money. But what we try to do here is we try to give you as many inputs as we can so that you can make the best possible decision. And I suspect the programs on TV don't have the same agenda. So I would agree with you. This is a better choice. Welcome, Jason. It's good to see you. Good morning. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Animal, good morning. Animal says, hello from, and I believe that's the flag for Bosnia-Herzegovina. I probably I probably said that wrong, and I'm sorry. No disrespect. Welcome. I hope that, that's Enver. Oh, okay. Got it. Welcome. Today is going to be a good day. I'm hoping we see a great game. I'm sure that we will. Good luck, and let's just have a great match. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Durkis, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back, and welcome to the Benzie gang. Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Just passing through, good morning. We got the whole crew here. Sobra, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Ed, good morning. Ed, did you see the title of the stream today? You're the man, Ed. Welcome back. AC, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Brandy, good morning. Good morning, one. Yo, that reminds me back when I used to play Counter-Strike and you'd be yelling at the other team and instead of exclamation points, they'd be ones. I just hit a nostalgic vibe from that. Good morning, Brandy. Good morning. EKS, is it a Tim Melvin day? It is. Spicy Meatball, good morning. Good morning and welcome back. Dime Bag, spelled creatively. Oh, you guys are getting me chuckling early in the morning, and I am here for it. Good morning. Welcome back. Master Chief, good morning. Welcome back. Kanat, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Shia, are we bullish today? I am. I woke up feeling all right despite the heat. I'm feeling all right here today. I did notice that the junk stock IDAI is popping here. So I'm doing even better today. We are bullish here today. Any fireworks expected before the 4th of July? Actually, I think so. I think one of the townships around me is doing it on Friday, a day early, but we're also supposed to get rain around here, so it might get rained out. Let me know if you have any good fireworks shows. Lance, good morning. Numi, good morning. Good morning from Croatia. Good morning. Rooster, good morning. It's good to see you again. Pankaj, good morning. It's great to see you. Acorns, good morning. I'm glad you caught that there, Ed. I'm absolutely glad you caught that. Billy, the human chat scanner, welcome. Super Nintendo. I tell you what, we might have, I know we have the best community, but we might also have the most creative YouTube handles in the history of YouTube joining this show on a regular basis. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. What's up, baby? Tiny Pie. If you can't stand the heat, turn up the AC. In America, that's exactly what we do, and that's what I've been doing. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning, welcome back. Tyler, good morning, welcome back. Unpopular Truth, good morning, welcome back. And Lydia, good afternoon from Belgium. Good afternoon, Lydia. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under a bit of pressure here today on the red side of the ledger. S&P futures down 0.25%, the Dow futures down 0.34%, and the Nasdaq down 0.57%. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session, as well as where we're kind of sitting today. I've also got some stocks in focus here for you today. We'll cover all of that. Information technology and industrial stocks were the top performers on Tuesday, while real estate, utilities, and consumer staples recorded the biggest losses, as most S&P 500 sectors closed on a negative note. U.S. stock futures declined again on Wednesday as the Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 indices fell following the close yesterday. Market sentiment faced fresh geopolitical pressure as Iran ruled out direct talks with U.S. envoys, stating that, quote, no meeting at any level with the American side has been scheduled for the coming days, end quote. The diplomatic impasse casts uncertainty over a fragile ceasefire near a critical oil transit route, pushing negotiations to communicate solely through Qatari mediators. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.47%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.17%. The CME Group's FedWatch tool projections show the market's pricing in a 66.3% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the July meeting. Now, as mentioned, I've got several stocks in focus here for you today, and the first one is going to be Nike. And as the title of the stream says, just sell it. Nike, ticker NKE, declined 3.51% in the pre-market on Wednesday, despite beating estimates, as CEO Elliott Hill declared that there had been, quote, nothing normal, end quote, about the retail landscape, while the brand's multi-year corporate turnaround drags on. More on Nike here in a bit. The next stock on our list is going to be Constellation Brands, and the ticker is STZ. It rose by 3.23% as it reported upbeat first quarter financial results and raised its fiscal year 2027 earnings guidance. The next stock on our list is going to be Bloom Energy, ticker BE, big winner for our group. It jumped another 8.04% after expanding its strategic partnership with Brookfield by increasing the financing framework for power projects from $5 billion to $25 billion, with a focus on supporting AI infrastructure and data center power needs. The next stock on our list is going to be Alcoa, ticker AA, and it tumbled 4.07% as it said that its $4.1 billion acquisition of South 32 Mines is expected to have an immediate effect on the company's earnings per share and free cash flow upon completion of the deal. Last stock on our list is going to be FMC Corporation, ticker FMC. It was up 6.87% as it announced that let me try that one more time. Tessenderlo Group will make a strategic minority equity investment in FMC Corporation of approximately 400 million USD or for $13.30 per share. Upon completion of the transaction, Tessenderlo Group will own approximately 20% of the outstanding shares of FMC common stock. All right, let's take a look at our SPY chart and let's see where we are sitting here today. No surprise, we are still kind of going sideways. This is what we talked about pretty much all week. We also talked about this in happy hour yesterday. It looks like that's what we're getting. I do have a couple of key levels for us to take a look at here today. First of all, SPY is currently sitting at 744.85. So it is 2 points lower than where we closed, or just about 2 points lower than where we closed. So technically, we're inside yesterday's candle. The good news here is that we're still above the 20-day. So right off the bat, if we continue this gap down or if we continue this pullback out of the open, we definitely want to look at 741.41 as the potential support area. That's going to be your 20-day moving average. With this 20-day, as you've seen before, we will often peak beneath it. Sometimes we will stop right on it, but just have an idea of where that level is so that you can trade around that if that is the case. Now, if we firm up and reverse intraday and we start getting some bullish movement here, I really do think that this trend line is going to provide some resistance. Now, eyeballing it based on the daily chart, I have it at 751 and change. I also think, when we've seen this from previous sessions, 750 is likely going to come into play here today. So as far as some of these upside levels, I actually think we have kind of a sticky resistance area between 750 and maybe even 752. If the SPY trades up here from its 744, 745 handle that we're right at, I would definitely expect it to at least pause and consolidate around that level, if not straight up pull back and then give it another attempt later in the day. So we'd be looking at those. The other thing, obviously, if we break that 20-day to the downside, we do have the 50-day moving average down there at 735. And remember, we still are going to be, if we break that 20-day, we're basically going to be in that support/resistance range of 731.70 to 740. So I would really not be shocked if we kind of just trade sideways here for the rest of the week, and we'll see what happens after the 4th of July holiday. I'd be curious if any of you have trades on the broader market today, or even just a feeling in one direction or another. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts and see what they think about the market here today. See if we can get any insight on where we might go. Wharton professor Jeremy Siegel remains optimistic about the near-term future of the U.S. financial landscape, pointing to a shifting trend that favors long-term stability. On the macroeconomic front, Siegel notes that the economy itself continues to display remarkable resilience, and that's driven by steady GDP growth, robust job forecast, and fading inflation pressures. Speaking of the inflation pressures, oil down another percent here. We're actually, the CL oil futures down 0.95%. So we'll see if that can continue. I would imagine if oil keeps falling, that's going to be good for the for inflation, or on the positive side of the inflation ledger. But again, we'll see how it likes to change. So we'll see how it plays out here. Thanks to falling crude oil and commodity prices, he confidently asserts that the case for additional financial or Federal Reserve interest rate hikes effectively disappears this year. Now, the dot plot would like a word with that, because the dot plot says that we are probably getting a rate hike. Some of the members think we should get more than one rate hike. So again, we'll see how this ends up playing out. While Siegel raises questions regarding productivity and heavy tech spending, noting that you cannot eat a data center. Yeah, probably not. You cannot eat a data center. He views this combination of cooling inflation and easing bond yields as unusually constructive backdrop for equities. So again, we'll see if we get this to play out here. I know Jeremy Siegel often viewed as a perma bull, so take it with a grain of salt. Instead of a broad market correction, Siegel expects an internal realignment. We call this rotation. Capital is rotating away from mega cap tech giants into cyclical value-oriented stocks that stand to benefit from lower interest rates and more attractive valuations. We'll see if Constellation Brands fits that. That's up on its earnings report. Let's see if we get any follow-through from that. Far from a warning sign, Siegel views this broadening of market leadership positively, concluding that this is, quote, typically a sign of a healthier bull market rather than a weaker one, unquote. So you let me know, do you think we're still in the bull market? Do you think we're going to turn around here, or is it all systems go going forward? You'll have to let me know. June's ADP employment will be released at 8:15. That's out. I'll go check on that for you. Looks like the market, I don't know if it's responding to that. The S&P futures are up off of its pivot, but they're still in the red by 0.2%. Also, June's S&P Flash U.S. manufacturing PMI will be out by 9:45, and June's ISM manufacturing PMI and May's construction spending will be out by 10. Now, real quick, I'll try and get you that actual number itself. Let's go back here and see what that ADP print was. ADP non-farm employment change for June, 98,000 versus the 118,000 estimate. So that number coming in a little bit light, the SPY responding positively to it, at least at first glance here. All right, let's go to our first story here. And I'm sure this was one of the biggest, we're kind of out of earnings season right now, but this is definitely the biggest earnings print from yesterday and probably for the week here. And it has to do with Nike. Nike, ticker NKE, the stock edged lower in pre-market trading on Wednesday after the athletic apparel maker reported fourth quarter revenue and earnings that topped Wall Street estimates, but warned of continued weakness in key lifestyle categories and also issued a cautious outlook. The company's biggest challenge remains its Nike sportswear and Jordan streetwear businesses, both of which posted double-digit sales declines during the quarter. Executives said a volatile macroeconomic environment and pressured consumer spending continued to weigh on these discretionary purchases. Now, as far as the actual quarter itself, Nike reported fourth quarter revenue of $10.97 billion, which topped analyst estimates of $10.86 billion. Revenue declined 1% from a year earlier on a reported basis and 4% in constant currency. Modest growth in North America was offset by weaker sales in Greater China, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Converse. Converse saw a steep decline. Nike brand revenue was flat year over year at $10.7 billion. Nike direct revenue fell 7% to $4.1 billion, while wholesale revenue increased 4% to $6.6 billion. Performance categories, including running, training, and football, posted mid-single-digit growth. However, sportswear revenue fell by double-digit percentage as consumer demand softened. The company also recorded a one-time $986 million benefit from the recovery of tariffs imposed under the IEEPA, or the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. More than $300 million has been received in cash, and the remainder recorded as accounts receivable. The tariff recovery helped lift gross margins by 890 basis points to 49.2%. Adjusted earnings came in at 20 cents per share, exceeding analyst expectations of 13 cents per share. Nike said its running business delivered 5 consecutive quarters of double-digit growth, adding about $1 billion in revenue for fiscal 2026. Wholesale revenue increased 4% for the fiscal year, supported by double-digit growth in North America and improved performance among retail partners. The company refreshed more than 15,000 wholesale retail locations globally and upgraded more than 150 Nike Direct stores with sport-focused formats. Nike said it plans to modernize half of its company-owned store fleet by the end of fiscal 2027. Nike expects revenue to decline by a low to mid-single-digit percentage over the coming quarters. Management said the second quarter is likely to be weaker than the first because of difficult year-over-year comps, elevated promotional activity in Europe and the Middle East and Africa last year, and the timing of North American wholesale shipments. The company expects sportswear and Jordan streetwear sales to remain negative throughout fiscal 2027 before improving in the second half of the year. Nike now expects gross margin expansion to begin in the first quarter of fiscal 2027, earlier than previously anticipated. Its outlook assumes an additional 10% tariff through July, increasing to 15% afterwards. Management also expects growth to expand beyond running into training, basketball, and ACG during fiscal 2027. The company plans to introduce more than a dozen new footwear models in the second half of the fiscal year to help revive its sportswear business. We'll see if they're successful in doing that. I definitely want to get the opinions of you folks on Nike. It's actually up off the low. So for today, this is rather encouraging. This is what it looked like when we actually got that print yesterday. It was actually wild right when we got the print. It moved down, then it actually looked like it was going to move up, and then it resumed its move down. It really did kind of find some support right down here, about $37, maybe a little bit higher than that. I would just call it $37. We're trading sideways here today, so the way I would look at this is this range here, about $39 on the downside. And oh my God, is this laggy? And then 40.50 on the upside. A break out or down from either of those levels, plus a back test of said level, should provide a decent trigger for a potential trade here today. Looking at the daily chart, though, it is just an absolute sad trombone. I wish I had it on my sampler right here. I'd play it for you. The stock has absolutely been in a downtrend since late 2021. It has almost the chart looks absolutely terrible. And looking at where we're at now, could really see this going down even further. Really kind of think 35-ish might be the next support there on Nike. We'll see if we get there. We'll see if this thing can turn around. But right now, as the title says, the market's telling you, just sell it. Just sell it. All right, next story here is going to be on the RAM, the price of RAM and all of that. I know there's calls to break up Apple, which no comment, but here's what's actually going on there. A severe supply crunch in the memory chip sector has set off alarm bells for tech giants like Apple, ticker AAPL, even as the Round Hill Memory ETF, ticker DRAM, has shattered Wall Street records, crossing $25 billion in assets under management since its launch on April 2nd of this year. The AI revolution is driving unexpected inflation in the hardware sector, with demand vastly outstripping supply. Apple CEO Tim Cook characterized the current market dynamics as a, quote, 100-year flood, end quote, noting that he has, quote, never seen anything like this in any area in over 40 years, end quote. This environment has created an extreme shortage of critical memory components. Consequently, tech leaders are facing massive input cost hikes, which are translating into consumer price increases on products like MacBooks and iPads. Tesla CEO, ticker TSLA, Tesla CEO Elon Musk echoed this sentiment, pointing to the biggest price jumps he has ever witnessed. While hyperscalers bear the brunt of these costs, semiconductor and memory companies are capturing historic windfall profits. This immense wealth transfer is perfectly illustrated by the unprecedented rise of the DRAM ETF. Shout out to our group who tracks that and trades that often. Launched on April 2nd, 2026, DRAM, the fund has experienced weekly inflows, quote, like nothing we've seen before, end quote. And that's according to creative planning market strategist Charlie Bellio. It has gained 173.52% since its listing. By June 25th, the ETF had amassed $25.06 billion, making it the fastest ETF in history to conquer the $10, $15, $20, and $25 billion milestones. This rapid ascent is fueled by heavy concentration in the companies dominating the supply crunch. The ETF's top 7 holdings account for 76.69% of its total assets, led heavily by South Korean memory powerhouses. The surging cost of AI infrastructure has created a profound divergence in the tech sector. While memory stocks boast exponential returns, the Mag 7 companies, which are paying top dollar for these components, are beginning to feel the strain of their investments. Bellio warns that this unchecked spending may not be sustainable. Quote, eventually, the cure for high prices is high prices, end quote. He noted this, suggesting that buyers will eventually be forced to question their spending pace. Until that breaking point, however, the companies selling the shovels continue to dictate the market narrative. I know that I've done this a few times, so I'm sorry to repeat myself and do it again. But it has to be mentioned, especially on Wednesday when we're going to bring Tim Melvin in. a long time ago, it feels like at this point. I mean, he told us it's going to be AI infrastructure, guys. It's not going to be the hyperscalers. And we see data point after data point after data point that shows that he was exactly right when it comes to that. Now, DRAM has gained 16.85% over the last month and 6.69% over the last 5 days. It closed 2.65% higher at $73.85 a piece on Tuesday and was lower by 4.92% in overnight trading. So we all know the whole memory thing. We've been talking about those memory stocks for a long time. I know there are still more trades to go on this. And again, I know that it's overhyped. I know that these companies have 10x their revenue in a lot of cases. Here's the thing, though, with that capacity booked out and with the hyperscalers or their main customers here really not showing any signs of slowdown, party on, Wayne. Party on. I think the two things to look for here is, number one, is more capacity coming online quicker than anticipated for creating some of these memory components? That can drive some of that down. Or if we start getting more and more news about hyperscalers really not wanting to spend a whole lot or not wanting to spend as much, spend a little bit less. Those two things, I think, can really kind of shake this story here. All right, I know we've got 3 minutes till we get to Tim. I got one more news story I want to get out there, and it is regarding Michael Burry. Big short investor Michael Burry reveals Tesla and NVIDIA shorts and said the chip boom is the beginning of the end. So is Michael Burry pretty much right on with this? Is he a little early? Y'all will have to tell me what you think about that. Investor Michael Burry of the Big Short fame revealed on Tuesday that he was shorting the Musk-led Tesla, or ticker TSLA, as well as chip maker NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, and some others. In a Substack post, Burry revealed that he had moved put options on the iShares Semiconductor ETF, ticker SOXX, from January 27 to March 2027, while also moving the strike price from approximately 320 to 350 to more than 400. He said that the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was, quote, at a historically high extension above its 200-day moving average, end quote, adding that the levels were not seen since the year 2000. Burry also added that the price to sales ratio of the index was, quote, very high, end quote, at over 16x, despite excluding NVIDIA from the index. The investor said he had shorted Caterpillar, ticker CAT, at 1,060.98. He also said, I also shorted NVIDIA at 198.09. Burry said and added that he also shorted the iShares Semiconductor ETF. Applied Materials, ticker AMAT, is also among the candidates shorted by the investor at 729.40. Notably, Cantor Fitzgerald analyst CJ Muse raised his forecast on the stock to 850 from 650 and reiterated the overweight rating. Quote, the SOXX itself is a pure form of overvaluation in an index, a form that is rarely seen and never so easily recognized as such, end quote. He added that it was only a matter of time before the index declines. He also said that the index rallied because of Korean spending. Quote, I see that as the beginning of the end, end quote. He also goes on, quote, I shorted Tesla at 416.22, happy it jumped back to this level, end quote. Burry said, but did not include a dollar figure for his exact position. Notably, Tesla jumped close to 10% and currently trades at 415 during the after-hour session on Tuesday. Tesla here sitting at 419 this morning. The investor had called out NVIDIA's financing arrangements fugazi and outlined the complexity of these arrangements that help, quote, tens of billions worth of NVIDIA GPUs disappear from balance sheets, end quote. He had shared a diagram that demonstrated how retirement money flowing into annuities supported financing structures that involved insurers, reinsurance entities, as well as private credit firms that help fund the AI infrastructure. Burry also shorted Palantir. While the investor had sounded out his concerns with Tesla's valuation, he's not the only one who called the stock overvalued. Investor Gary Black of the Future Fund LLC has also called out the EV giant's valuation on several occasions. The investor has said that he exited his Tesla position due to declining earnings estimates, among other reasons. So let me know, are we Burry fans? Are we following Burry's trades? What do you think about all that? Let me know if you have a trade put on all of that stuff. Unpopular Truth says, saying that for a year, eventually he may be right. I concur. Anne-Marie Band saying he's always early. There you go. I would agree. Always early, sometimes not there at all. But always early, that's for sure. And then Buffalo by Bicycle, this is another really good reminder. This guy's got really deep pockets, so these shorts might not be palatable for retail traders like us. Just keep that in mind. Everyone's risk profile is different. All right, folks, it is Wednesday, and we're excited to welcome back Tim Melvin. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Tim, good morning. How you doing today?
I got no music this week. That's so sad. Hey, Ryan, how are you this morning?
You got no music?
I got no music for my intro. It's just awful.
We just played it. Did you not?
I didn't hear. Sure. Didn't come through on mine, but that's okay.
Okay.
Michael Burry. Let's talk about Michael Burry for a minute. Michael Burry is brilliant. Oh, Anne-Marie, this is the 4th of July. I got to let you guys appreciate the short. I'm a big fan of the 4th of July. Okay. We kind of do it up right around here. We're in total agreement with John Adams, ringing the bells, blowing stuff up. And we'll be celebrating this weekend, the 250th anniversary. So, but this is and I had one on last week with the Constitution. This is my favorite, and it's the one I'll be wearing to the parades. This one, it's got all your red, white, and blues, but check out my American flamingos, right? Very Ralph Steadman-esque tribute to the 250th birthday. I love this shirt. My wife, not so much, but I love this shirt. Speaking of the 250th, as we head into the weekend, and Ryan, I sent you a link. My good friend Med Faber has he's more of an acquaintance, but I call him good friend. Great guy, brilliant guy, written a lot of great books on investing. And on Amazon, coming out Friday, he has Investing in America, a 250-year bull market. And he tells the story of investing in America. And it's a fantastic, fantastic book. And it just looks at all of the innovation and everything that's happened in U.S. capital markets since 1800. And, he does make the point, you've got the FOMO cycles, the fear and greed cycles, the rampant speculation cycles, the good guys, the bad guys. But ultimately, this all kind of works out. No, this isn't for Florida, dude. I dress like this every day.
That's perfect.
So anyway, check that out on Amazon. It's $76 because, $17.76. It's fantastic. Meb's one of my favorite people, investors, and writers. And this is going to be a really nice coffee table book that they had done. So check that one out. Ryan, when I talked to you last night, Ryan and I talked last night about 9 o'clock to try to compare notes on whose baseball team was actually blowing it worse. It's mine, but Ryan's Cubs are pretty close behind. And at the time I said, I'm not sure that I've really got enough to talk about tomorrow. And, I kept reading and I got up early and I'm having my coffee and I'll never get done everything that we've got to go over this morning. So, sticking on the theme of investing in America. Well, wait a minute. I forgot. I was told you I was going to do Michael Burry. Michael Burry learned the lesson of asymmetric returns back during the great financial crisis, right? He learned that if you can make smaller bets and withstand the pain of the shorter term losses, playing for that massive payoff, right? It's life-changing wealth. Mm-hmm. It remains as true today as it ever was. The other thing that you need to understand at a deep internal level about Michael Burry, okay? He is probably smarter than any of us ever will be. This guy is an Asperger's, that's the high end of the autism spectrum, doctor, right? And he was a brilliant physician. And he applied in his spare time all of this to the markets and figured out that in his spare time, he was making more than he did as a doctor. He's real good on investor psychology, valuation, kind of looking ahead. This is a truly brilliant man, all right? What he's doing with these options, if you noticed, he had a 400 strike with the index at 600, and he moved up to that. He's playing lower cost, way out of the money options. If he loses a little bit. When he hits, and look, he's going to hit, right? If you just keep taking small stabs at these grossly overpriced stocks, eventually you're going to hit. He can lose 8, 9, 10 times. The one payoff will give him 101 on his money. Okay.
And I'll say this, Tim. I'll say this just really quickly because you're bringing up a really good point here. And for most of us regular folks, we don't like losing 9 out of 10 times, right? Like that doesn't feel good, and it's not ideal. So again, I don't know that just following this brilliant guy is the smartest strategy,
unless you can do exactly the way he does. And let me just say this: that if you're a trader and you don't know how to take losses, you're not going to last long as a trader. Now, that's just, some of you aren't going to like that because you like the 90% win rate with 100-to-1 returns every time. It doesn't work that way. Two of the greatest traders ever in the history of the CBOT were Charlie D. Francesca. He traded the bond pit, and he was a legend. And Charlie said that, you know what? You have to learn to love small losses. The secret to winning big is taking small losses. And then in the earlier days, going back, the guy who traded Mark Spitznagel at Empirica was a guy named Everett Klipp, and Klipp was the biggest corn trader. And same thing. It's like, to really, really make a lot of money trading, you have to embrace small losses. You've got to be positioned so that when you win really big. But when you lose really small, and accept internally, you are going to lose more than you are going to win. The very best traders have been the longer term trend followers. Go back and look at Jesse Livermore, right? They only win about 45 to 50% of the time. The really, really greats, Tudor Jones, Druckenmiller, 65% of the time. Okay. So if you're looking for 100% win rate, you're playing the wrong game. Okay. It's like sports gambling. It just ain't going to happen. Unless you bet the Orioles to lose, then you might actually have a pretty good shot.
I wasn't going to make that joke, but kudos to you.
Come on, it's too easy. It's never mind. Wrong show. If we're doing a baseball show, I'd go into all the reasons about why they have just really blown it. But let's go to J.P. Morgan and Michael Symbolist, who has come out with Semi-Quincentennicals, the U.S. grip on markets on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. This is a great paper from one of J.P. Morgan's best thinkers. I love it when this guy comes out with his Eye of the Market publications, and he takes a really unbiased look at investing in America and what it means. It's deeply pro-American market, okay? But he's not a blind patriot here. He says, the U.S. markets still have an enormous grip on the world. The Sell America didn't really, that slogan sort of didn't last long. Foreign capital has reversed. It's starting to come back in, not necessarily in the form of equity market investments, but it's coming in the form of semiconductor plants, auto plants, foreign money, and they're coming back into the United States. They are buying U.S. corporate debt in pretty good size right now. So the idea that we should just randomly abandon America does not really hold a lot of water. And he points out, look, U.S. companies are way more profitable than the rest of the world, but hold that thought because we have more on that here in a second. The profitability is, compared to Europe, China, and Japan, is just major differential. He also says that AI is both the engine of this growth and the risk. If we blow AI,
I agree,
is different. Okay, that's why you've got to be so careful about these. Well, I don't want a data center plant in my backyard. You do, actually, because it's the whole key to future growth in your region of the country. Now, you got to work with these companies to work on the water problem, work on the electricity problem. But so far, they've all been pretty flexible to that and amenable to paying their fair share of the local utility bills. Yeah. But if we create a bottleneck around AI for not my backyard concerns, China's going to catch us. China catches us and passes us, the world's going to get to be a more interesting place than we really want it to be, particularly since for the cost of a 30-mile jaunt across the South China Sea, they can take over the bulk of U.S. semiconductor capacity right now. He points to a couple risks. I don't want to get too bogged down in this report because I do have some other pretty cool stuff to talk about. But he's like, the biggest risk overall is political. And he's not pointing at this administration because I can hear everybody's back going up from all over the world when I say things like that. Rule of law is critical, as is funding science at a government level. And that is a function of government. All right. It's one of the things that we should be doing for, I'm going to say 30, 40 years now. We've been kind of actively trying to defund science or politicizing science under a couple of administrations. That's exactly the wrong thing to do. If you look at the number of things that made all of our lives better that came out of the defense, DARPA, and out of other U.S. government projects, we can't afford to defund science on the government level, which means we have to take the politics out of that particular aspect of government. Then the other massive advantage that we have over everybody else comes down to energy. We are energy independent. We are a next exporter. If we get super smart, and again, politically, we'll see if we can stay smart for very long, we have a massive edge in natural gas that can last 400 years. And we can use that as the bridge to building nuclear and building solar and building other things. But Simplest makes the point in the report, this is a significant advantage. Anyway, this is a great read from a really strong thinker at JP Morgan, whose eye on the market pieces, as far as I'm concerned, are pretty much, kind of mandatory reading. So I wanted to touch base on that one, Ryan. I did give you a link to that one.
I know, and not only did you give me a link, but this is great, folks. You guys don't have to email me because Tim actually gave me links that are clickable by you, and I'm throwing them in the chat here. So the first one from this JP Morgan study that we're talking about right here, that is in the chat. Tim, as we go through these, I will continue to post them for the group.
Okay, very good. Now, next up, there's a paper on the accounting, right? Because remember, he touches on the fact that Simplest touches on the fact that we're way more profitable than everybody else in the world. But there is a great piece that has a massive amount of truth by Owen Lamont over at Acadian. Now, if you remember a few years ago, they passed something. This was under the Biden administration. It was ASU 2016-01. It's an accounting rule. It was initially proposed in 2016, obviously, and was passed under the Biden administration. Now, this rule.
Which link is this, Tim? I'd like to share this too.
It's hang on. Let me just.
None of these are titled here, and I'm just trying to go based on the web address itself.
Yeah, I know, but I forgot what I titled them. Hang on a second.
They're not titled. They're just the web address. So is this the Alliance Bernstein Insights?
No, this is actually the one that I did not send you. Hang on one second. Let me do this one. Go up here. It is. I'm going to send you the link right now, Ryan. But now this one's actually, I think, pretty important. And
I'm sorry to break this up. I'm sorry to stop the flow here.
No, that's okay. This actually is a pretty cool link. All right, there it is, off, up, and away.
Gotcha. Now, I'll get it.
So Buffett was upset when this passed early on, and it made you mark to market your securities holdings if you were a C corporation, and you had to record the gain or the loss. All right. Buffett was pissed because it distorted his book value and it distorted his earnings. So were a lot of insurance companies because you're not looking at underwriting and actual gains. You're looking at the ups and downs of the daily market reflected in a quarterly earnings report. It's a stupid piece of accounting. Okay. It's got no business in U.S. corporate accounting. nonetheless, it's there, nobody's made a move to get rid of it. So you've got to include certain unrealized gains and losses on your equity holdings in reported earnings. Valuations in public and private markets are going to flow directly into the net income of public companies. So earnings of Mag 7 companies and companies that invest in other companies are wildly distorted. Lamont is making the point that the market's expensive at 27 times earnings, but earnings are grossly overstated. And here's what he means. Takes Amazon. Amazon has a big stake in Anthropic. Anthropic did a new funding round that doubled its valuation in February. The value of Amazon's stake increased by about $16 billion. They had to report that as a non-operating pre-tax gain. First quarter income was $30 billion. Their reported earnings were double or thereabouts what the actual cash earnings were because of this rule. Now, this comes into play in a big way in tech, some biotech companies, some healthcare companies that have substantial investments in other companies. And you get a feedback loop, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you get rising private market valuations, that pushes the stock up, which drags up the value of the private market companies, because that's one of the comparators that they do are public multiples. So you get a false feedback loop. And Lamont worries that this could be a problem going forward. Now, that's, as I said, Buffett's harshly critical of this rule. This is one of the reasons why. And it is grossly overstating. I went back and just did some back of envelope, and it's pretty bad for some of these companies that have large private company. So that's just some factor to be aware of. A change in this rules is going to deflate earnings dramatically. A broader recognition could cause a revaluation. And if we get into a bear market in tech, trust me, this is going to be a lead headline on every morning show and newspaper and, internet proclamation in America. So that is a really important accounting issue that's going on.
And we brought it to you first here, by the way. We had someone earlier mentioning the pitfalls of CNBC. Just want to point out that we brought that to you early here. Buffett said, quote, "This will severely distort Berkshire's net income figures and very often mislead commentators and investors. That requirement will produce some truly wild and capricious swings in our GAAP bottom line." That didn't sound good, Tim.
Anne-Marie wants to know what we were doing with the rule that backfired. Anne-Marie, we don't really know what they were doing. They wanted to prevent people from masking increases in the value of the corporation and bring it into taxable income. They were trying to include their tax base, because remember, that pre-tax gain gets recorded in income. You got to pay some tax on that. It's got to factor into everything. So I think they were trying to increase taxes. Transparency, I'm not sure, because all of that information shows up in book value anyway, right? Which would be how you and I would do it if we owned stock and it just kept going up. Our net worth would increase, but it's not necessarily a taxable or reportable event until we do something with the stock. And Buffett's point of view, and I agree with it, that shouldn't be reportable until we do something with the stock. Amazon's gain in Anthropic can go away tomorrow if DeepSeek came out and said, we've beaten you. Right? And are they removing this rule in the future? Emery, if you can tell me what Congress is going to do with the accounting rules, I will buy you dinner anywhere, any place, anytime of your choice. Because I don't know. I don't think anybody understands what they passed when they passed it. Okay, so I really don't know, but it is misstating the earnings, which means that the valuation multiples are probably a little bit artificial, and they're actually much higher than the current reading. So there you go. Top of the Eiffel Tower is your choice. You know what, Anne-Marie? I'm going to have to pay Ryan off on some stupid sports bets that I made, but Congress understanding the accounting rules that they pass, I'm never going to have to pay that one off. ever. And all you got to do is find a congressman to explain them to me. Okay. And if they can do it correctly, then we'll work out to dinner. But that ain't never going to happen.
Tim, another question here from Richard. What's the timing of this rule? You know?
It's eternal. I mean, it's an accounting rule. It's not scheduled to go away or expire or anything else.
Okay. So
but
indefinitely
it's also, yeah,
sounds
right.
like the answer. Okay.
Right. But when you're valuing a business that has those gains are not even going to enter into it. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to buy a company. The actual net worth of the investment may play into what I'm going to do, but it doesn't play into the earnings column. So it is a gross misstatement if you are valuing a company only on earnings. So anyway, it's not something that's going to change tomorrow. It's not going to impact the fact that tech stocks are real popular and that the trend is up. But it's something to be aware of, because if the trend changes, this is going to go from doesn't matter to matters a whole lot. Okay. So now we're now down to what do I most want to do next? So we're going to go with OPEC's world oil outlook, which just came out. OPEC came out, and by the way, I get all the anti-OPEC things. I mean, I'm a child of the 70s. Nobody's like, OPEC more than me. However, they're a major player in the oil market. They're not as big as they used to be because of us, because now of Venezuela and the Don Roe theory, which gives us control over most of the oil supply in the Western Hemisphere. However, energy, they're still a player, and their core message is just simple: energy transition. It's happening, right? Solar is growing, wind is growing, especially at the industrial and utility level. Utility scale solar and wind are happening, and they actually make a lot of sense, right? With population growth, urbanization, rising incomes, developing market industrialization, and energy security, that doesn't just mean that renewable energy is going to grow. It means all energy demand is going to grow. The world economy, according to OPEC, by 2050 should double to 359 trillion, with population rising to almost 10 billion people. And the center of gravity is switching. It is not Europe. It's not Japan. It is not the United States. The center of gravity in the world is going to become India, Africa, the Middle East, and developing Asia. KKR did a great piece on that earlier this year, particularly with Asia. Like it or not, in terms of population and energy and a bunch of other things, Asia is going to become a much bigger player in the world. Now, oil's demand, they see rising to 113.3 million barrels a day by 2030, 125 million barrels a day by 2050. So oil's not going away. Natural gas in particular, and this story really doesn't play up natural gas because they don't have as much as we do. But so I'm going to play up the natural gas angle of this. Natural gas just might be the most undervalued asset on the planet right now. When you look at rising energy demand that is not going to be met by renewables or nuclear, the only rational, real, affordable, reasonably clean solution is natural gas. Now, we happen to have a ton of natural gas on hand, but OPEC does very correctly make the statement, Ryan, that we have underspent rather badly, actually very badly, on oil and gas infrastructure and exploration and development. Okay. Because we all decided during the previous administration and the two before that, the Biden and Obama administrations, that renewable was the only way to go. And we had the COP meetings all over the world, COP23 being the absolute worst, where everybody signed on to a pact where we were all willing to reduce our standard of living in order to clean the planet up, which was one of the biggest grifts like in the history of the world ever. But when we look at rising energy demand, you have to have infrastructure, you have to have exploration and production. We've cut back on all levels. We are underinvested dramatically in energy and energy infrastructure, which sets up, okay, here's your quick ticker fest, guys, because, it's me. There's no way I was leaving without throwing out a bunch of tickers.
I love it.
So here we go with oil and gas infrastructure plays. There needs to be a lot more of this. Most of what I'm going to give you is the U.S. And when you look at the rise of LNG and the fact that, we're going to end up processing most of Venezuela's oil. You take the fact that we, basically held the oil hostage, and now the fact that the earthquake has severely damaged infrastructure down there and greatly increased the capital flows. Venezuelan oil is going to become a bigger player. So I think as a result of the last election will be the Colombian supply of oil, which is larger than we're talking about. So this sets up things like ET, which is Energy Transfer, who is a huge player in bringing heavy crude into the United States. Enterprise Product Partners, International Seaways, INSW, we're big fans of that. Shipping becomes real big, real fast. So you've got Frontline, which is FRO, INSW, being huge players. Cheniere Energy Partners, CQP. We're huge fans of PAGP. And PAGP is the general partner of Plains All American, the limited part, the MLP, which means it's taxed on a 1099, not the dreaded K1. Although quit being sissies and just deal with the K1s. There's money to be made here. Pay your accountant. Be nice to the guy. He works hard. So Plains owns just tons of infrastructure, storage, pipelines for natural gas liquids, as well as crude oil all over the United States and Canada. This is an area that's going to need major investment over the next, it's going to be ongoing for a very long time. I'm just looking at FLNG is a shipping company that is in the LNG business. LPG ships liquefied petroleum. So these are all infrastructure investments in oil and gas that are going to be in high demand. They are generating and will continue to generate an absolute lot of cash flow for an extended period of time. Most of them are MLPs or have a favorable payout structure anyway. So they are cash collection machines. And somebody wants to know if I have an opinion on the water crisis in the Southwest. Is it tradable? I don't know. I mean, that's a great question, and it's one that's troubled everybody for a while now. We're not quite sure what the solution is to that. I have a feeling that we may be looking at a need for desalination and transport because it is drying up there. And look, reality check. California was never meant to be an agricultural powerhouse growing high water crops, right? And they rerouted the rivers. They drained off the lakes. You look at the Arizona Valley, that was never supposed to be populated, folks. So we've done some things there that may or may not be reversible, and it's going to take a lot of water pipelines and some really innovative and unique thinking. However, we're Americans. We specialize in innovative and unique thinking, so I'm not going to throw in the towel. But yes, supply chain of fossil fuels is evolving, and it's way more important than anybody realizes. But it's going to become LNG to a very large degree. We're the largest player, but the need for pipelines, none of us are going to see that need go away in our lifetime. Maybe our grandkids will.
Okay.
So anyways, that's all I've got for you. But I had to get some tickers out there. I would feel like I had failed you all miserably and let you down, and we just can't have that.
All right. The symbols are in the chat, Cam. I got ET, FRO, CQP, PAGP, FLNG, and LPG. I think there was an INSW in there. I couldn't find the ticker. So.
INSW is International Seaways. Make sure I just gave you the right one.
INSW. I think I might have typed ISNW. So you can add INSW. Tim, that was probably my fault there. Here you go.
No, that's okay.
Here's your other
So,
one.
I mean, look, and I'm just going to do this real quick. I don't want to cut 13's time, but if you're looking for what's the next big thing, it's sitting right in front of your face, and it's energy. And nuclear is part of the story, but not as big as they're telling you yet. We're ways away from that. If somebody sells you an investment on fusion energy, just slap them and walk away. That's decades away at this point. It's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a game changer, but it ain't even close. But natural gas, nuclear to a degree, renewable. If the market holds a sale on this stuff, load up, because everything else you're reading about the future is 1,000% dependent on cheap, reliable energy delivered in large amounts when needed. So that's where we are, guys. That's what I've got for you this week. Just collected a whole bunch of stuff since we talked last night, Ryan. Order Meb's book. It's a great coffee table book. It's a great way to celebrate the fact that we are the most innovative, profitable country in the history of the world, for all our faults, disagreements, arguments, which have been going on since the very first election after Washington. You think politics are dirty today? Go back and read the comments the Adams and Jefferson campaigns were slinging at each other. It was horrible. By the way, that's also when the first insider trading scandal was. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. Okay? It's always been this way. Just remember, we're all on this ship together. We can all make life better. We have a great history of it. Look forward, not backwards. You can discuss. Arguing is kind of stupid. Let's focus on what matters. Family, freedom, and making money. Have a great 4th of July,
All right.
Ryan. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Amen, Tim. That is a heck of a way to sign off here. We really appreciate it. I did throw those links there in the chat. Thank you for the tickers. Look, I said the same thing to Anne-Marie yesterday. Make sure you come back next week with all of your fingers. I love that you're celebrating America's birthday, but don't lose any of your fingers with the fireworks, okay? That's all I ask. That's your only homework. Okay, we'll take that as he's not going to blow off his fingers.
Yes, no, I'm sorry. I was having a little sound problem. No, I will come back with all of my fingers. My wife doesn't let me play with fireworks anymore.
Okay.
17 years ago, this straight up would have been a legitimate concern, but this time we're good.
Okay, awesome stuff. Tim Melvin, everybody, really appreciate that loaded segment there. We'll see you after America's birthday. Real quick, I'm going to do street tweets, then we're going to get 13 on here. Don't worry, folks. We're going to have plenty of time, but street tweets right now. All right. Your street tweet here. We talked about Nike's earnings. Well, guess what? They took another L. Nike is losing the World Cup too. Even with the World Cup expanding to a record 48 teams, Nike somehow managed to lose ground, shrinking from 13 national teams to just 12, while Adidas doubled its footprint and Puma nearly doubled its own footprint. So the punches just keep on coming. Now, I will say, I know we've been piling on Nike here for a long time. I admit I'm guilty. I did a little bit more of that here today. At some point, this company might be a great buy. Sorry, guys. I don't know that time is right now. I don't know that time is right now. It's bad across the board there. And I think if we just think back to like how Mark Petrino talks about taking on risk for the purpose of making profits, we might just give up trying to hit the bottom on Nike and wait for it to turn around and see how it goes then. But in any case, on Nike's earnings day, other bad news for you there. All right, let's go back to live trading. We're going to go ahead and do our pre-market polls, and we're going to say hi to everybody's favorite uncle, 13. Let's go ahead and do pre-market polls right now.
Uncle 13?
I don't know. I had to come up with something, and I had to do it quickly, and so I did it quickly.
Good morning, everybody. It's Uncle 13 here wishing you a happy July 1st. Hopefully, everybody's doing well in the chat.
Everyone seems to be doing well here in the chat. That is for sure. Good morning, everybody that we have not said good morning to already. 13, let me go ahead and share pro here. What do you want to start with?
Well, this list of movers is kind of getting shuffled around. We do have several 100% movers, but one is from yesterday. I think the others are ones we've already traded before, so there's not a whole lot to go over here. I only looked at two a little bit more closely. The rest we can just go over as we want, because this list is kind of shuffling around, and I don't really see too many solid companies on here, but we can get there when we get there. For now, I only took a look at TC and LHAI, the two top movers.
Okay. So sorry. What? Which ones?
TC.
LHAI. I'm sorry. I just couldn't hear you. LHAI. All right. I did notice early, right when we started the show here, IDAI has popped. This has been an absolute dog. This has been one of the really bad speculative picks. And it just hasn't worked. It looks like we got a pop on some news that took us almost to 260, which would have been pretty awesome. And we've already given all of that back. Trust Stamp ships custom-built LLM model to an international telecom company and will hold a call to unveil its strategic initiative to build and deliver the sovereign AI tools. So the first thing here, on July 17th, there we go. On July 17th, I will be hosting a shareholder call to unveil the scale and the exciting significance of these developments. So with this mover here, large language model, okay, maybe that's going to move it. It did initially, but looks like we didn't get a whole lot out of that. And now we're kind of kicking the can 16 days down the road till July 17th. So if you're interested in this, or if you've already had this, maybe mark that day on your calendar. We'll see what more information we get. This morning's action, less than ideal, frankly. That's the nicest way that I can put it. All right. Now, let's go ahead and start with TC. This is Token Cat. Okay, that's an interesting name. This also happens to be a China name, so perhaps this is going to be in our theme of China junk runners here. Maybe this looks like this, closed at about 2, traded up to 8. Still holding higher here by 213%. And of course, no news there. No news that I can see in the news feed. Short interest on this name, nothing. Actually, there's literally 5,000 shares held short. 0.02% of the float shorted, 1.93 days to cover. That's negligible. It's going to have no impact here today. This thing on average is a ghost town, trades 152,000 shares, done 32 million here today. Float is 26.4 million. 13, you're right. There's really not a whole lot here. Do you see anything on the chart that we should be made aware of?
Well, other than that massive drop that it had yesterday,
which was a halt fest, by the way.
It was, and I don't know what news that was on. I didn't, really dig into why it was halting down, but halt down it did. It took it all the way down to about 150 before it finally found the bottom there. And once we had all that happen, it started turning around and climbed all the way back up to where it started. So now we're coming off of that upside and looking for support from some of these previous highs that we had in the after hours yesterday. So one is going to be at 450, which looks like we recently just bounced off of. If we are not able to recapture that VWAP, I think that this could also go lower. Looked at the financials of this. This has very little revenue, has very little cash. It's not profitable. So probably just another one of these shell companies that is used for trying to capture volatility. Whenever the price goes up, they sell their shares and take the money. Anyway, and leave a bunch of bag holders. Reverse split, do it all over again. That seems to be the game. So that's what I have for TC. Looks like if we are going to go higher, a recapture of VWAP needs to happen next. You have resistance at about just shy of $6. Looks like about 585. If we do not recapture VWAP, then I would be looking at that 450 level again, as well as $4 for the next support.
Okay. All right. Really good breakdown there. TC, be careful with this one, but maybe we get a trade out of it. Who knows? Really good.
Could be like Jim. Could be like Jim. Yesterday, that thing didn't really do a whole lot, but overnight it absolutely ripped.
Yeah, and it's interesting, 13, because in the pre-market there was action, and in fact we had that trend line break, but once it broke that down and came into the VWAP, it was a ghost town the rest of the day until the after hours. So maybe if you don't trade this, put TC on your watch list and see what happens in the after hours. I'll probably just avoid that. To me, there are other things that are a little bit more palatable. But really good breakdown there. Now, Gem, I guess we might as well just kind of talk about this since we just compared it. This is a Hong Kong stock. It's up another 150% today. But again, just kind of going back to what 13 was just saying, it closed just shy of $4, $3.97. And then it had that big move in the after hours. And it actually retraced half of it and is starting to kind of slowly grind up here again today. Now, we did have some news here. They They advanced their AI-powered blockchain-enabled supply chain platform, and the board approves their strategic decision. So this is to explore a digital platform that harnesses AI, blockchain traceability, and crypto payment technology. So this actually does have a headline here today. How well is it going to do? I'm not too sure. And if it's anything like yesterday, it was wild in the pre-market and then boring in the regular session. So
and it's all about the float. These aren't really super exciting headlines in my opinion. They're going to certainly get something that has under 1 million shares going. But the only news that this has had over the past couple of days, it's seeing this multi hundreds of percents move higher, is they added a new executive director, and they are advancing their AI-powered blockchain-enabled supply chain platform. They're advancing it. It's not that they've created it, they're releasing it, they're just advancing it. So these two headlines, I don't really think I would consider that worthy of getting the run that it's had, multiple hundreds of percent higher. This is getting pushed around. It's all about the float.
Okay. All right, good breakdown there. That is JEM. Now, the next one here is going to be LHAI. This is Link Home Holdings. This was a penny stock yesterday. It traded up to $2 here today. Link Home Holdings shares are trading higher after the company announced it had completed the acquisition of 100% of the equity interests of Mortgage One Group. I'm not even sure what Mortgage One Group is, but nonetheless, that's what the news is here today. Short interest on this, negligible, 0.54% with 1 day to cover. If we go back to the overview tab here, God, why don't I don't have volume on it. Sorry about that. Float 9.33 million. 13, you have anything here on the chart? What do you have to add here?
Yeah, so Mortgage One Group is actually in they're in warehouse lending. And then to add on to that, Link Home Holdings is now launching a GPU financing business, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I don't know what they're trying to exactly build here, but you have a mortgage company that does warehouse lending, and then you have another business that they're starting that lends GPUs. I'm starting to think there may be a data center angle here.
Okay.
Now I don't know if that's the case but this is an artificial intelligence-driven property technology company. So they may be using, data centers as maybe leverage. I don't know. I'm only speculating at this point. Let's get back to what we know about this. 9.3 million shares in the float. The company does have some revenue. It has some cash. It doesn't really have any debt whatsoever. It's very, very small. So I think that bodes well for this company. And their their income pretty much break even. And it looks like right now on the chart, we're starting to get a rise here that is going to come up and challenge the $2 high that we printed this morning. So that's something to watch for as well. $2.
Looked like it stopped at 180 right there as you were talking.
There's a concentration of sellers right there. So that's going to need some more volume to get through. But $2 and then $2.15 afterwards, next two resistance areas.
Okay, 2 and 215, and that's if it can get above 180 right here. LHAI, one of your movers. Okay, I got two more on here that I want to mention, 13, and they're being asked about from the chat. The first one here is EHGO. This is a shall go. We've traded this a number of times recently. Big impulse move, big retracement, totally normal. Came back up to the VWAP, tried to go above it, couldn't, and here we are. So right away, if we can get through the VWAP, maybe things change here. Nothing new from today, just the pricing of the $750,000 offering yesterday. That came midday, by the way, 11:30 in the morning. Near midday. Yeah. Quick peek at the short interest on this one. 4%, 1 day to cover. Float, as a reminder, 1.44 million. What do you got?
Yeah, so with I didn't really take a deeper look at EHGO because we've already traded this one. I'm just going to go on the chart, and it looks like, that VWAP is a big resistance area because right above it, you also have this supply zone from when we opened the market, pre-market opened. That was trying to hold above, looks like 255, 260. We finally lost that about 5 o'clock this morning. We have not been able to recapture it. So that is the resistance to get over there, that 550, I'm sorry, that 250, 255 area. And once you do, you have to manage this consolidation from much earlier in the pre-market. I would say that once we get past 3, you're probably going to have a much better trade going on here. There's still resistance, but you're going to be past a lot of the supply that's currently keeping the price down. So I would say just beyond that VWAP, we can make the price can make its way through VWAP and get over $3. Should see better more highs in the regular session.
Okay, good stuff there. EHGO. Comment here in the chat. Hello, good morning. Had a rare chance to join you this morning. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Rochelle. This is another one of our happy hour members joining us here this morning. Welcome. We're happy that you had a rare occasions to join us. Hopefully we're able to impress you on that. Good stuff. All right. Next and last one here from the movers list, that we can take a look at some of the real stocks that you guys are looking at. CanF, Can-Fite Biopharma, ticker CANF. Can-Fite Biopharma shares are trading higher after the company announced its phase 2A study evaluating one of its drugs in patients with advanced pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma achieved its primary safety endpoint and demonstrated durable overall survival outcomes. That sounds like good data there for one of its drugs. This spiked up towards 7, retraced 70% of that move, and lo and behold, curled and found resistance at VWAP. So once again, VWAP going to be one of the key levels that we need to get over here. A reminder of short interest on CanF, which we've traded a number of times around here. 2.21% of the float shorted, 1.48 days to cover, and a float of 2.13 million. 13, you got anything on this chart?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to these biotechs, this is one where you kind of have to look at the finances a little bit more closely. Look at what else they have in the pipeline right away. I'm thinking this is going to have to be one of those companies that's going to need to raise cash at some point, probably very soon. Don't know exactly what instrument they'll use. If they're going to do private placement, if they're going to try to do it at the market. Don't have any of that information. What I do know is that when I look at their finances, you have, they have basically no revenue, very, very little. They burn through millions of dollars every year because they're biotech and doing research. And then when you look at their cash position, they have about, as between their cash and equivalents and short-term investments that could be liquidated, you have about as much cash on hand as you would need for another year. So I think that you're gonna need to raise capital or do some kind of financing round with this company, because they don't have a whole lot of cash left in the pipeline, and this is just a 2A study. There's probably like a concurrent study going on, a 2B. There's going to be phase 3. So there's still a lot more money that needs to be had here, or that needs to be raised in order to continue operations. So I think be careful with this one. Certainly trade the volatility. None of these you should be sticking around in. We get in, we get our money, we get out, we say thank you, we move on. Okay.
Really good stuff there. That will take care of the movers. We'll see what's actually moving when the market opens.
Real quick. Two names I want to just mention to keep an eye on. SDOT, because that's been a mover lately, and BTOG, because that's kind of getting going here, BTOG. So 2 others to put on your radar, BTOG and SDOT.
Okay. Perfect. Now, it sounds like there's some Meta news going on. Looks like several of you folks are talking about Meta popping here. It is up 7.25% here today. Meta platform shares are trading higher after reports suggest the company is building a cloud business to sell excess AI compute. Okay. Looks like it found some resistance there at 610. We'll see if we re-challenge that on Meta. 13, do you have anything on this chart here? And I guess separately, do you have enough on this chart so I could step away for just a sec?
Yeah, go ahead and step away. I'll think of something. So this climbing up, this actually came down to 540 before we started reversing. So very, very close to some of the lows we were expecting. I think some of us were looking down in the 500s. I was personally looking for 520. So we didn't quite get that. However, we still need to recapture some resistance levels on this daily chart if we are going to be in recovery mode here. The 50-day SMA, certainly one that we need to get back over. We're right on the doorstep of that. I have the value of the 50-day SMA at 606.70. Now we do have a trend line here. We also have the 20-day SMA. The 20-day SMA was also a resistance area mid-June that rejected the price action to the upside on the 15th and 16th, send us back down towards the 520 target that I had. Now that we're reversing, we want to see if it can get back up through all this supply that was up here before we lost it. So basically from everything from about 595 to about 645, got a bit of supply here, a little bit of a sideways consolidation channel. I don't know how easy this is going to be able to work through that. We might even get rejected somewhere in here today and come back towards the 20-day SMA. That's entirely possible. Now, as far as their cloud business to sell excess AI compute, I wonder who they're going to sell that to. And I think that's going to be the concern here with me. But as far as the chart goes, I think the 50-day SMA is the next resistance I'd be keeping an eye on. You do have the 500 at 628. You have the 200 at 649, almost 650. So there's a couple of other resistance levels to the upside, but I think for now, I want to see if we can even climb over that 50-day SMA.
Okay, so 606 is what you're looking for?
Yeah, 606, 70, yeah. But I want to see if we can get back up there because this is the same area where the 20-day SMA rejected the price back mid-June and sent us lower. So wondering if we have enough of a catalyst here, enough of a stomach in the traders and investors to pile into this and take it back over that. And like I said, you still have all these other moving averages in the way. So all I see is resistance to the upside.
Okay. All right, there you go on Meta. Let's see a couple of comments here. If we could look at Meta after the news today. And then, Eric, you were saying some of the other ones are down. So like NBIS, is that one of them that's down? Yep. NBIS. Oh, wow. So you're right. This is down 10% here. This is actually coughing up the 20-day.
Okay, so this is a rotation. So you got the software coming back up, but meanwhile, all the hardware is going down. AMD is down. I'm sure all the chip makers are down right now. Let's take a look. It's TSM. TSM's down. TSM and NVDA. That's down. AMD's down. Chip makers are down. Micron's down.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. I'm doing my best to follow you along here. Everything is slow and laggy for me. I don't understand. So sorry if I'm a little bit behind. All right. What else do you want to take a look at?
Hey, Beat Street. That's something that we talk about that all the time. Just because you didn't hear us say it doesn't mean that we didn't.
This is your first day here, and you've really just kind of talked smack a couple of times about us already. Why don't you watch for a little bit and see how we handle things? How about that?
Now, Joe wants to look at now levels. I don't know if we were moving on from Micron or not, but Micron's still holding up above the 20-day SMA. That's moving average I'm keeping an eye on because it seems like it's been providing some pretty good support. And if we start losing it, I would be concerned about further downside. Now, as far as service now goes, so we're coming back over not only just a couple of moving averages here, but also do you still have the same trend line?
Sure do.
So we're climbing right back over that. So maybe there's some recovery happening here. I think I'd want to see some higher prints before I would feel comfortable about saying, yeah, this looks like we're back in recovery mode. Looks like 110 is probably the spot I would want to see the price start closing over. There are some other resistance levels to the upside. That 200-day SMA is certainly a big moving average to get over. But if we are going to be bottoming here, I want to see that that recovery take us over 110. I think that's going to be the signal. So we'll see.
Okay, and I think I agree with you for a longer run here. Obviously, that 200-day has provided some very serious resistance for this. It's what brought us right back down to the support level. Do you have any others if we go the other direction? Like if we can't hold this, obviously we have the $85 low, but do you have any other levels from there? Like maybe in the 70 handle?
It's so I'm not sure that
maybe?
I can see that that bottom there in from October of 2022, where you're talking about that $70 area. what I noticed about how the price came down and started going sideways, this year in the the $80 to $100 range is because back in 22 we had this sideways consolidation that's created a demand zone. So if we're going to go lower, like through 70, we're going to have to see a lot less demand, a lot more sellers taking out all these support areas. I would say 80 is probably the biggest support area to watch for now if we do get a rejection. But that's a lot of supply. I'm sorry, that's a lot of demand to get through on the downside. So I would say that somewhere between maybe 60, 68 and 80 is going to be your line in the sand zone, because beneath that it could be, the support could be down underneath 60 at that point. I don't know that I want to really give too many levels to the downside, because I'm still looking at this zone from the end of 22.
Yeah, you want to see if this even cracks in the first place, because we're already kind of beaten down in this thing. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, we've got 3 minutes left here. Any other tickers that you folks want to see? Any other tickers that you folks want to see here that aren't, some of the smaller movers, which I'm sure we're going to look at?
And LHAI still trying to push higher into this open. $2 still looking like that big resistance area.
Lunar was one of the ones that was suggested. Lunar and Oklo, we can take a look at that. Lunar has actually done a good job really kind of holding its 200-day here. We've talked about this one, not really loving this one a whole lot. Good hold here on the 200, but to me, I think this really does need to get back above the 20. We've just been in a really steep downtrend here. Intuitive Machines shares are trading higher after the company announced it received a firm fixed price contract from NASA to deliver a production line qualified Nova C lander to the moon no later than 2028. Hopefully this one doesn't tip over.
Yeah, this is a company that is still being tapped for the lunar base that NASA's wanting to get set up here. They're just kind of on shaky ground with NASA right now, because, as you pointed out, they are not great at landing spacecraft on the moon. Now, this is good news that they're still getting contracts here. I think for me, I would want to see if this can get back above $25. That seems to be the big area of resistance, and give or take maybe 50 cents. But I think that $25 area is the next resistance level that we should be keeping an eye on. We get rejected there, which also has the 20-day SMA right in that same area, as well as a lot of overhead supply back from May. I think that's going to be the toughest spot to get through. And when we do get through it, we start to approach the 50. I would think that $25 level becomes support if we do try and test the 50-day SMA. So that's kind of the scenario I'm anticipating here. Just need to see if we can get back above $25. I think that there's going to be some pretty stiff resistance there.
Okay, and then we'll take one last look here at Nike. Guys, I know you guys gave me a bunch of tickers. We're out of time here. I'm sure we'll look at them throughout the course of the day. Who's buying Nike here at this low?
This is still around the same price that I think Tim Cook was picking it up at.
And I think Lion said he liked it as well down here. It did go red to green. So it was red post the earnings. Now it's green. We'll see if it has some strength here. That's NKE Nike.
Yeah, and okay, still have a little bit of time. I was, it was interesting to see this drop right after the earnings. The earnings had come out, it whipped around a bit, and then we had this drop down to 37. And since then, it's turned around and it's been trying to trade back up. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, is this capitulation? So we'll have to wait and see. We're open.
Okay, we are open. Let's see what we got.
Looks like LHAI climbing up to 2. Trying anyway.
Lion says Ryan, you know who. I don't think I'm buying Nike here today, Lion, but that's pretty good. S&P, first move out of the open here is down. We're actually down to about the low before we got that last data print. 744 just broke. We're in a 743 handle. Pre-market lows, by the way, 743. So I want to see if we can hang on to 743 here. Apple, by the way, we were talking earlier, or at least the chat was talking earlier about Apple was really kind of trading up in the pre-market, giving back some of that. I still didn't find any news on that. Did any of you folks find any of the Apple news out there?
Hold on a second. I might be having a problem with my platform. There we go. Okay, so SDOT, we just had a nice blast off there that took us up to $45 even, and now it's coming back in. TC taken off. Going through the VWAP, coming up to the next resistance area just shy of 6. LHAI popped and then dropped. It is halted down right now.
Oh, great. Okay, so that halt time 9:30:57. We are expecting an unhalt 9:35:57.
So that might give TC a little bit more attention.
TC, nice little curl through the VWAP there. I'm still not interested in it. Nike at the top of the relative volume scanner. How about that? Nike recovery underway. Red to green move here in the pre-market, now up 2.5% on the back of its earnings. It was a double beat, by the way.
And BTOG is also this one doesn't have as much volume as some of the other ones. I don't know how great BTOG is, but it was doing pretty well earlier this morning, so thought it was worth a mention. But volume right now not looking great.
Not at all.
Even if it does climb up a little bit more, I think there's big resistance at 150.
Yeah, and 147, and it already showed that it's having trouble getting over the VWAP. We'll see if it continues to have that trouble. You guys were talking about Meta, not GSUN. You guys were talking about Meta earlier. This pulled but held VWAP, so this might not be over here. And then one more thing, I noticed EYPT. So this is another one of, this is a previous stock that we've talked about. We don't talk about it very often. This is iPoint, had a great day yesterday, straight up out of the gate. Actually saw that there was a price target raise on this. See if I can grab that here for you. Yeah, Chardon Capital maintains a buy and raises the price target to $68. On June 24th, Guggenheim reiterated buy and went to 68. The stock's $15.50 here today.
I still have my trend line out here. And hey, now we finally have the 200 month showing up. It's been showing up for some time. I just never noticed it. Looks like 1850 to 20. Is kind of the zone of resistance for EYPT. Just looking at a monthly chart, seems like every time we get up to $20 since 2020, the year, that's where sellers start showing up. So I could see this going to between 18 and 20. I don't know what's going to if it's going to keep on going to that price target that you mentioned.
Well, yeah, it seems like first step there would be clearing out that $20 level.
All right. So we still have LHA halted. TC continues to climb. It's coming up to, it looks like it got through 6, finding some resistance up in the 630s.
Also, your inverse ETFs for the semiconductors and for tech, those are popping out of the gate here as we continue to move down in both the SPY and the Nasdaq. Day lows here, and we actually took out the pre-market lows. So we broke 743 to the downside. Tesla traded up towards 425. And that backed off a little bit. Ondas pulling as well. And Palantir up towards its day highs here, 123 on Palantir. Let's see if there was anything else on the options. Haven't seen anything yet. Oh, there was that one on Elf Beauty, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
EHGO came down to near its 65 EMA on the 5-minute. It is trying to recover. Still trading beneath VWAP. I have VWAP at 255.
That's EHGO. Did see a pretty big call sweep here on Elf Beauty. Those are the $75 calls. EHGO. Are
we getting a recovery here in Bitcoin? Because I'm seeing some Bitcoin-related stocks.
Bitcoin's about flat today. And versus the market, Bitcoin is outperforming.
Okay. Yeah, this is still kind of hanging out in the area we were looking at for support. I don't think there's a bottom too far away with Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're still thinking, 50 to 54K, somewhere in that area is probably your bottom.
That would be like my lower level. Like I don't know that we're even going to get down there. I'm still anticipating Bitcoin to recover or at least have a bottom put in by November or December. So
right. CoreWeave on the relative volume scanners is another one of those companies that's moving on the back of that meta news. This moving to the downside, down 11% here. Jay mentioning IWM is barely down and the transports are green. So Jay, do you think that we bounce in the Qs or in SPY here today? It does look like it's trying to firm up here in the 742 handle. LHAI is open and it came open right at the timestamp that we said. Thank you, Jay. Here it is.
And it looks like if we come in lower, it's going to be 155 as the support. And then we have VWAP underneath that. It looks like it's trying to recover and get back above that 185 resistance area on its way to 2. Lots of sellers above this price too.
SpaceX, which was green earlier today, has now gone red. SPCX. That means SNK has already provided a pretty decent trade here today.
Yep. Oh, looks like, I don't know why we don't at least bring this up once, but F-Cell, we were leaking into the open here. Came down to 34, 38, and it's trying to recapture some of these EMAs and the VWAP, but still dealing with a lot of the sideways price action in the after hours. I think that's going to pretty much give you your resistance area. It looks like about 37. Going to be a tough spot for F-Cell to go higher, given all this this concentration of buyers and sellers right in that area.
All right. By the way, we do have an all access here in about 8 minutes. So 13, just like we did last time. We're going to move you to the back. You'll still be in the chat. We're going to come back after the all access. That's coming up here.
Here we go with EHGO. Don't know why that worked out the way it did, but it did. Back up to its VWAP, trying to climb over that. SDOT also, the reason why I wanted to keep this on your radar, this is now printing highs at 46.81. And I still have my trend line that I drew from several days ago. I wonder if I extend that further, if that's going to provide a target for us. If you want to draw,
I think I still have it too. Let me just extend it. Let me just extend it through there. That is awesome.
And you know what's really funny is that it kind of, when you extend that trend line, it kind of takes us up to the $53 high from yesterday. Just a little bit, kind of in that same area, maybe a little bit higher than that, but it's kind of pointing us in a direction, isn't it?
Sure is.
BlackBerry, more new highs. We haven't quite hit the 13 handle yet, but yeah, this is climbing higher into the 12 handle. I still think that this is going to have to come back in. It's pretty extended. And when it does, then I think that I'd be watching for a bottom because I'm interested in jumping back into this at lower prices. I think that they've got a great thing going on there with QNX and their endpoint encryption. I think this is going to be great, especially for the robot theme. But right now, price is pretty extended. I think this has to cool off first.
By the way, I had a news story here. We didn't have time to get to it, but Tesla has moved some of their production lines over to producing those robots. So very interesting. Retro, welcome back. Glad you're feeling better. Lion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a good morning. I was saying good morning, Retro.
Lion, I had asked earlier, I was asking Jay if he thought we were going to bounce due to the IWM and the transports. You're saying we should see a recovery. The SPY does look like it's trying to find some footing down here at 743. We'll see if this ends up holding. No signal yet on the 0 DTE indicator. We'll see if we can trade back up towards the VWAP or the 9 EMA. So far, it does look like it's trying to find some support here. Not out of the woods yet. EYPT, new highs.
EHGO, same thing, new highs. It is taking out those resistance levels and now is coming up to the next area of resistance, which should be about 3 to 313. I'm sorry, 315. Blew right through that VWAP, trying to get above 290 right now. Might see some selling, but if we can still hold above, like the 270s, maybe the 260s, or at least VWAP, we should be able to push higher.
Kraft Heinz here, KHC. We were talking about some consumer staples recently being potential targets to rotate into. Look at this, up 4% right out of the open here.
Yep, this is one of them that I own. This one in Clorox, I've been building positions in. Nice recapture of the 200-day SMA. Let's see if we can get some closes above that in multiple succession there. We only have one. We've got a close above it, close beneath it. Now today we're looking like we might close above it again. I want to see multiple closes consecutively with above these moving averages. So that's the next thing I'm waiting for. KHC, also a bit of a seasonality play as well. But as we were talking about yesterday in Happy Hour, some of these out of favor stocks are likely going to get attention, especially some of the ones that are tied to summer and, well, maybe in the World Cup. So we've been taking a look at Sam Adams, because we know that the Tartan Army drank Boston dry.
Yeah.
And their beer of choice was Sam Adams.
Sorry, let me get in here real quick. Meta, I'm seeing a huge call sweep here. These are the 720 calls that expire August 21st. They bought over 2,000 of them. Traders spent 2.13 million on that trade. That's Meta, by the way, on the back of the news here today. You guys are mentioning GIS, which is General Mills, ticker GIS.
There's another one. They had earnings, it looks like, so that's their catalyst. But also another one that's worth taking a look at if you're looking for these out of favor consumer-facing plays. This one's coming off of a very, very steep bottom. Meanwhile, we also have SDOT climbing higher. Looks like 47.99 is the print. EHGO trying to hold above that VWAP now. And LHA, this is halted to the downside right now. And TC, this gave up pretty much everything since the open. So this is why we do not stick around in these.
That's right. GIS, interesting daily chart there.
And yeah, but speaking of ones that we do stick around in, KHC, Clorox, all these have been so beaten down. They're pretty cheap. And now their dividend yields, the ones that do pay dividends, are very attractive. Some of these printing over or paying out over 5%. So I think this is a good time to start getting out that shopping list and start getting those or building positions in those names that are really beaten down. Bargain hunters will come looking for them. And I already think that started.
Nike here, this actually continuing. It looks like it's all right. Looks like this might try and trade here. Lion, you got to be ecstatic about that. EYPT still at the highs here today as well. And Palantir also still at the highs.
Jay, that might be the case. I think that I think it all comes down to your time horizon. If I'm for at least a year, I don't think that these prices are bad at all.
All right, 13, we're going to move over to that all access real quick. So I'm going to put you in the back here. 13 will still be in the chat. As soon as we finish all access, we will bring him back here. All right, 13, sound good?
Sounds good to me. I'll see you in a bit.
Oops, I clicked the wrong button there. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and put 13 in the back. All right, here we go. Oops, sorry about that. Was not ready here. All right, we are happy to welcome our special guest, CEO of Brenmiller Energy, Nir Brenmiller. Brenmiller Energy is a global leader in thermal energy storage, ticker BNRG on the Nasdaq. All access starts right now. Good morning, Nir. Welcome to the show. How are you here today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for taking the time and thank you for joining us. Look, I'm just going to dive right into it here. Industrial heat produces a lot of greenhouse emissions, yet it gets little attention. Changing that.
You're breaking up a little bit. You hear me okay?
I hear you fine. Yeah, sorry. Do you need
Perfect.
that question again?
Yeah, please.
Industrial heat produces a lot of greenhouse emissions, yet it gets little attention in terms of finding ways to decarbonize it. Why
Right.
and what is changing that?
Well, industrial energy as a whole is not getting the right focus, even though it's by far the single largest source of energy use in the world. Industrial growth in terms of energy consumptions is like 4x bigger than data centers. By 2030, you'll need more power for industrial applications, additional 2 terawatt, and another less than a terawatt for all the data centers planned in the world. As a whole, it's maybe it's less sexy. We don't think about machines and production and materials, but that's by far the low-hanging fruit of efficiency, electricity, and decarbonization as a byproduct, because when you get more efficient and you move to electricity, you are decarbonizing. And I think that if we want it or not, this is by far the largest part of the energy sector that's going to get attention and investments if we want to get more power out of our sources and grid.
Okay, I don't see that slowing down at all. What role does thermal energy storage technology play in lowering industrial heat emissions, and how does Brenmiller Energy fit into that?
Well, the industrial sector is starting to move in the same direction as transportation. We are electrifying our cars, our fleets, our planes, and now we are moving to electrify the industrial sector. 80% of the energy in the industrial sector is heat, 80%. And it's all made with coal and oils and natural gas in a base case scenarios. Now we want to electrify it. We want to electrify it not because it's nice and green, because it's more efficient and it's going to get the energy cheaper. And as a byproduct, again, also clean. So like you did with your car, you need a battery, or with your phone, you need a battery to charge at off-peak hours or when the grid is available. And a thermal storage is actually a heat battery, like a hot water tank that you heat whenever you can and discharge whenever you need, but at higher temperatures for processes that require steam or oil or hot air above 100 C degrees.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about the BGen platform, like how it works and what makes it so attractive to industrial customers and what sets it apart from other green energy solutions?
Yeah, so Brenmiller is a pioneer in this sector. We started this company 15 years ago. We are coming out of solar and solar heat, and we saw this missing link of this missing component, the battery. And we developed this very simple idea that comes with meticulous engineering and a lot of innovation in how we build it. And we charge the system with electricity when it's available, when the sun is shining, when the grid is available. And we heat up crushed rocks that are inserted into modules. And these modules then stacked up to a system like a battery in the modulation. And so you charge when you can, and you discharge whenever the customer needs heat. The system integrates a lot of efficiency on the floor side of the customer. We integrate all these needs together, but also we see the grid on our back, and we discharge the grid whenever the grid needs a relief. This means usually that the prices are either very cheap or even negative. Even we get paid from the grid to charge the system. So we help the grid get paid. We help the customer to reduce its bills and emissions. So we have one system with two customers, and our system use only eco-friendly materials. It's stable. It is a physical device, no chemistry, no degradation, no hazardous material. So it's very, what this means that you can integrate it on your production floor. It's not easy to put lithium-ion batteries or any chemical device on production floors, but we have a very solid device. We also like batteries. Maybe I'll get to it later. We don't, but batteries store electricity and we store heat.
Okay, that's really interesting there. In addition to creating the TES solutions, the company recently started offering energy as a service. What benefits does this bring to the business and then, of course, to the customers?
Right. So we are evolving. We started with producing, devices. and then we turned into a service. Now we are coming into a client, and he asked us to also provide him the rest of its needs, because why not? We are there, we are grid connected. So we are selling him whatever he needs. We are now his energy partner. So we sell him power, we sell him heat, we sell him whatever he needs. In the future, we will sell him computing, because computing is energy and cooling. Okay, it's on our list. So we are providing all the customers' energy needs from a single supplier, a trusted partner, and we are taking care about the grid and the grid connection and sourcing the electrons and trading. It's becoming more and more complex. Customers want to make shoes or sausages. They don't want to be an energy traders. So we are their partners for that. And we are different because we are coming out of the industry. We know how to get into an industrial client. We are not a virtual electron trader. Okay, we know how to tap into their steam systems and to be a reliable, trusted partner to an industrial player. It's a different ballgame than just selling virtual electrons.
Okay, sounds like a one-stop shop there, which sounds pretty easy for the business. Now, look, Brenmiller Energy counts Tempo Beverages as a customer. Can you tell us about that project and how you're using it as a springboard for future deals?
So I mentioned we started 15 years ago. Hardware clean tech is a long journey, but we are fortunate to reach to a point where we are turning commercial. And Tempo, that here is actually the manufacturer of Pepsi, of Heineken, and other brands. It's one of the largest breweries in Israel for sure, but in the whole region. And we are going to be, and we are already the sole supplier of energy, of heat to this customer. They are trusting on us 100%. To get into the circle of trust for industrial players, that's a very, very hard thing to do. And we just did it. And the players are big and the names are big. So it's much easier for us now to bring other customers and to show them that they're not the first, and it's working, and we have engine hours, and it's reliable. The engineers don't care about saving, they don't care about the bottom line. They just want to go home at the evening that everything is working. Okay, so now we already passed the CFO, we passed the CEO, but now we are also passing the engineers.
Okay, awesome. And then lastly here, how should investors look at Brenmiller Energy now and into the future? What are some key milestones that are coming up? And what should investors ultimately keep on their radar?
Well, the previous years were the tough years because you have to take a dream company and think, when will it become real and what if? Now we are moving to the execution phase. So we will show first how we evolve with the strategy, how we are becoming a player that also purchasing assets and making them better because we are smart and we know how to connect clients to them. Like real estate. On the other hand, you will see that we are progressing with existing projects, that we are signing new projects, and that we are actually, starting the growth phase and the phase that investors really can evaluate if it's for real and what's the growth and what's the margins. Until now, it was like developing a vaccine. You don't know if it's going to fly, but now we are passing to the stage where we can be tested or evaluated as a normal company. Still small, but I really hope that in the near future, not that small. Yeah, and we are also entering into the whole supply chain of industrial needs, including data centers in the future. Data centers and solar fields are pretty similar. You need a land and you need a grid connection. So for us, to develop the two is not that complex. And we are evaluating every vertical that we can add to the one-stop shop you mentioned.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like, I know small now, but it sounds like you actually have the right trajectory and you have the right irons in the fire. So look, thank you so much for joining us today, Nir. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I look forward to more updates from you in the future. Looking forward. See you soon, I hope. All right. Take care. That was Nir Brenmiller, CEO of Brenmiller Energy. Ticker is BNRG on the Nasdaq. Join us next time for another exciting All Access. All right, let's bring 13 back.
Hello. We have some movement happening here. So those junk names that we were looking at, TC and LHAI, not performing very well. We did have some pops out of the gate and just sinking afterwards. Maybe these come back later on. For now, LHAI losing its VWAP. TC
looks weak.
It's kind of sideways, pretty much. I don't know that I would count this one out, but it's sideways right now, not having a whole lot of volume. Wouldn't surprise me if this went lower, but looks like that move is in for now. These might come back later. We've certainly seen plenty of them do that, so I wouldn't take them off my radar. But they're not a good trade at the moment. Meanwhile, we did have some moves going on with some of the other names we talked about. SDOT ran up to 50.49. Okay. Still shy of the trend line, but it was heading up there. So we're still above VWAP on that one. EHGO, after that pop and drop that it had, it's pretty much trying to find its footing near the 65 and 200 EMAs. And what else we were looking at here?
I'm looking at the SPY, by the way. I don't know if you've been following this. I was watching this out of the corner of my eye while we were on there. SPY did, in fact, hold 743. Now, I did get a buy signal. It was a little bit a while ago. I didn't take it here myself. This is trading back up 744. We'll see if it can get back above 745, and then ultimately 746 would be the next level there. But SPY putting in a pretty good bounce early here.
And it looks like you have some of the quantum names performing pretty well this morning.
QNT, that's down about 5%, although that had a great day yesterday. Are you looking at Rigetti or Ionic? What are the quantum names that you're... Rigetti's up a little bit. Looks like that just went red-green. Yep. And then how about Ionic?
Yeah, they had some of these had drops out of the gate, and now they're just recovering, and it looks like they popped and dropped. It looks like they could come back up to at least the open and possibly go higher, but it seems like these are trying to find their footing from all the selling that's been happening recently.
Good. Looking around here, see if I see anything else interesting. Apple's bouncing after that basically retraced its entire pre-market move and is bouncing again. That's interesting. Anyone have a trade on Apple at the moment? Let me know if you think this takes out 300.
Let's look at Apple. Back to a daily chart. So this is still a question mark for me. It's nice that its price is trying to get back above the 50, but I still think that 20-day SMA is going to be a problem. It might be recovering. I think if we do get over the 20-day SMA, 300 is still a tough spot. I kind of think that's where I would leave it at right now, because it does look like it wants to turn up and climb higher, but at $300 level was sellers were adamant about not having the price above that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we can capture 300 there. Also notice that Chewy is on the list here today. Chewy's been real tough recently. Nice day here today, back above the 20 handle. Here's what I've got on Chewy. 13, do you still think that this inverse head and shoulders is intact?
I'm still leaning toward yes. I mean, if we are still going to, because remember, like I said with this one, this is a very long-term time horizon on this. I was going off the monthly chart with that pattern. You're probably not even looking at the right pattern either. Because I know that there's one on the daily, and then there's one that really showed up on the monthly. And that's
this is the one on the monthly. This looks pretty clean.
Okay, because there was also an inverse head and shoulders on the daily that was just only part of the right shoulder. And I'm still in wait mode.
Yeah, this is. I'm sorry. I was referring to the monthly one, the little bit more longer term one.
Yeah.
SPY is continuing to bounce here as well. That is actually working out quite well. 745 still your resistance level. We'll see if we can get back above that. But man, oh man, nice move there on some of those zero DTEs.
And great stuff, Jay. He's got a bunch of BlackBerry calls, just trimming them as this goes up. I still maintain. I think that this is getting pretty extended, and although I do believe this is going to go higher, it's still flying past the $13 level. I feel like there needs to be some kind of cooling off or corrective move before we can go higher. I think this has the ability to get back up to 20. Jay, I think you said you were looking for 15. I'm just kind of waiting on this cooling off, because I think it's just too extended to get up to that price that I'm looking for. I want it to come back in because I'd like to re-enter. But on the daily chart, you're over 80 RSI. On the weekly chart, you're over 85 RSI. On the monthly chart, you're over 80 RSI. All these things are saying to me that this is, there might not be a whole lot more upside left. There's going to be some selling pressure coming. And I just want to be ready for that, because I would like to own this under $10 again.
Nike continuing higher. How's Lion doing? I haven't seen him hooting and hollering. Got to imagine pretty good. Nike's been straight up from the open here today.
All right. Oh, here's another one that we traded before that's starting to move, but slowly, is Decoy. This up about $1.15, but moves really slow, it looks like.
Interesting. Chris is saying some of your toss charts are frozen, including SPY. I am not seeing the same thing. I actually have SPY and SPX and ES on different charts here. All of them seem to be moving for me.
Looks like Wendy's is squeezing again, trying to get back up to 9. That seems to be one of the preferred areas this runs up to, and then it runs into some trouble. Let's look at the daily chart here. Maybe this is actually going to be able to capture 9 and stay above it this time. Though I still have concern. But
do we have our potential short squeeze setup still here? I know the short interest is still high on this name.
Yeah, it's just that I'm concerned about their dividend, because it's starting to get to the point where their net income is lower than what they need for their dividend payout. So they just had a new CFO come on board, and I'm kind of wondering, do we see the CFO go, hey, we can't continue the business like this? Well, we're paying out these millions of dollars in dividends. We're going to have to cut this. I feel like that's coming. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the CFO is smart enough to figure out how to turn this around and without having to cut the dividend. I'm looking at how much the money they're sending out every month, and I get the sense that that's coming, that cut is coming.
That would be a huge negative for the stock. Meta also new highs here today.
Ford's been saying Riot going buy, buy, buy. And then Gem is going up. That is still going up. Is it over 10 yet? Because I didn't know that this thing was going to keep climbing. No, it's still working on capturing 9. But yeah, this thing is quite a gap up. If you had this and you held it overnight, I don't know what you're doing, but congratulations if you did. I don't know that I'd be holding it now. Maybe this continues to climb and do some really weird things, but if that's a party you want to attend, go for it. I don't want to stop you. I just don't know that I'd be attending after this blow off top here.
All right. Let's see. What else are you guys looking at here today? Is there anything else interesting that we have not taken a peek at?
Jay is mentioning TEM, Tempest AI.
It's been a while since we've looked at TEM.
Yeah, this is actually climbing over the 20-month SMA for the first time.
Nice move here today on good volume, too.
200-day SMA resistance. That's going to be at 63.36. So if you look at it in a mirror, it's the same price. That's just a joke. Yeah, so I would kind of would lean on that 200-day SMA, and if we do get above that, 70 looks like the next spot, next resistance.
What do you have on this, Jay? What do you have on this? 40s, no position. Okay. Would you like a position at a specific level if it came back, just out of curiosity? Because I think you're onto something there with AI healthcare. I think that's probably going to be the next like big gainer in that space.
I think there's probably not a better use case for AI than in the healthcare sector.
I would agree with you, 13.
Especially with imaging and diagnostics. I think that's where AI is really going to shine.
Whole bunch of call sweeps, by the way, for Tesla. I'm not even going to read them all because they're all a little bit different, but a ton of them back to back to back. Sorry, get back in.
So Zach mentioning RZLV. This is Resolve AI. This is one of the ones that I brought up a while ago, and I was kind of thinking to myself, if their forecast for their earnings later this year is going to be what they say it's going to be, then this thing is really undervalued. So I took a position, and I'm just waiting this out. Was trading around it for a little while. Now that it's taken off, trying to recapture we're trying to capture the 200-day SMA. I'm just waiting to see if it does that. I would like to see this up near 5 before I start taking profit. But this is making some nice moves. I want to see this get back over. I want to see this get over the 200-day SMA next.
Okay.
I've been trading up to it and hitting it 2 days in a row now. I feel if we keep hammering that, the price is going to eventually push through.
All right. I own FTRE in that space, so you're not looking to chase 10. That makes sense. Market more new highs. We continue to bounce here. New intraday high there on SPY.
And we might. I know that today is the start of a new quarter, new month, so we're getting these monthly inflows. I could see a little bit of backing off, but what's really interesting is the rate for U.S. to U.S. dollars to yen is at the same as pretty much at the same highs as it was in 2024, same month. And back then, the price of the broader market, the SPY, went on a 10-day 4% rally before it started selling off into the FOMC meeting at the end of this month. And my belief on why that happened is because the yen carry trade was the spread was so attractive and so lucrative that you had a whole bunch of borrowing happen, and they pumped it all into the U.S. market. I think that's what happened. And then when you had the FOMC meeting later that month, that ended up resulting in the yen carry trade unwind because Japan was raising rates and we were keeping ours steady. So it was narrowing that spread. And I think that's one of the reasons why we started seeing that carry trade unwind. But all I'm saying is that now that that rate is as high as it is, again, we could see some continued elevation in this broader market.
And we are seeing that so far here today.
Yep.
Everything at the highs now. Nice bounce. Dow leading the way higher.
Yeah, Jay, I don't think that's a bad observation whatsoever. This is still a new issue. It just came out of the market not that long ago. Take care line, and this is the Honeywell backed quantum name. So I don't think this is a bad stock, but I think it's still got to work out some of that volatility from coming on the market, that IPO volatility. Same thing with SpaceX. That thing is still volatile. I didn't even look at that yet today. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, so that actually totally reversed. That's interesting. That's still above 150, which is one of the key levels that we have talked about here for SpaceX. But this was strong in the pre-market. We are 13 points from high to where we're at right now.
Yeah, and the spot that folks were waiting for, and I know because I remember seeing some, was going to be that 175.50, which is the share performance threshold. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, SpaceX has a staggered unlock system for early investors, so that the whole bunch of shares aren't suddenly flooded on the market and just tanks the stock price with everybody trying to get out and take their gains. There's a staggered unlock period, and it's nuanced. First, you're going to have Q2 earnings, and up to 20% of shares are going to unlock. If the share price during that earnings period, 5 out of the 10 days of that earnings period, is above that 175.50 threshold, an additional 10% unlock. So there are some folks that want this this performance threshold to hold up during that period, which is supposed to be coming in August. That's when we're anticipating their Q2 earnings. So that's what's at stake here. 20% unlock or 30% unlock, depending on where the price is during that earnings period.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm mesmerized by the SPY here. Straight up as we continue to bounce and set some new highs. Anyone that took any part of the bounce here for a trade here today, register ring for you, because that is working out. 748 would be the next spot to get above. We'll see if we can do that. Saw Palantir got mentioned a few times while we were talking there. Let's take a look here at Palantir. This is still straight up. What does the daily look like on Palantir?
Just keep an eye on S.2. This thing is still holding its VWAP.
Palantir looks like it's trying to test that 125 level. This would be a key spot. I think if it can't get above 125 here, we might actually roll over and revisit some of those recent lows. I would watch 125 here for Palantir if you're looking for a trade on that.
It looks like we could still climb higher. I think we do have the 20-day SMA right in the way. I think we could still climb over that. It's the 50 that I'd be a little bit more concerned about. That's up at 135. I think I'd have, and that's kind of where a lot of this sideways consolidation, the middle of it is. I think I would be more inclined to say that 135 is going to be a tougher spot than where we're at right now.
Okay. So more room there up to 135. Yeah. That's all. That also happens to be the, let's see, what do we have here? That also happens to be the 65 EMA on the daily. We normally look at that on the intraday period, but on the daily there as well. By the way, just got the first sell signal here on those 0 DTEs for the SPY. So that this entire move from 743 and change up here to 746 and change, just got our first sell signal there.
Looks like quantum names continuing to recover here after that initial drop out of the gate. I'm keeping an eye on Ionic and Inflection. So Ionic is coming up to the highs from yesterday. Inflection is still got a ways to go. It needs to get closer to $14 before we're going to be at some of the highs from yesterday. Actually, 1375 looks like the spot. But they are trying to recover here after that initial drop out of the gate. So recovering. Fiven, interesting name. Now, I think that's one of
that's
the
FIVN, right?
Is that one of the IT service names? Because I remember we've looked at this one many times before. I'm just trying to remember because there's like Fiven, there's Fiverr, there's a lot of five named stocks. I just don't remember which ones are which. Let's see here. Software. Okay. Software, and this is a cloud native contact center. Okay. So this is the company that I should be getting mad at whenever I yell representative into the phone.
It's been there so many times, 13. I hate it.
Yeah. MBA, Beastie News. AMBA, sorry.
AMBA, AMBA. Yeah.
And Oost up for the third day.
That thing's been on a ridiculous run recently.
Looks like Starwood also trying to recover after it just paid out a dividend.
That was yesterday.
Yeah. So this is still kind of sideways, but looks like we might get some better trading once we get back over 1660. Still waiting for S-Dot to climb higher. This thing is just a big old spready, violent mess, but it's a mess with a lot of upside.
What a description.
Yeah, just be careful with this one if you're trading. I know it's been, providing some really good trades over the past several days. Still got to say, be careful with it. The float is extremely low.
And it's still battling here with the trend line that we extended.
Yep.
SPY still under 747, but it sure looks like another test of 747 is due here. Sergeant Sexy, excuse me. I would love Walmart under 100. Gosh, the last time we took a look at Walmart together, that thing was testing its 200-day. Let me go back to my big chart here and pull up Walmart, WMT.
I won't forget Rigetti, but this is one of the ones where I don't think it's as good as the others. A lot of people have said it's not even a real company. I've never said that. I maintain this is a real company. I don't think it's as good as the other ones. And this is still in a pretty clear downtrend that started at the beginning of June. So we have a month-long downtrend here after we hit that high on June 3rd. Have not been able to get back above that. And all this whole time, it's just been, going down, trying to recover, failing, and going lower. On its way down back into this consolidation channel between, $13.50 and $18 that we were looking at earlier. So Rigetti to me is not the greatest of the quantum names. I think there are much better plays, but it's still getting funding from the CHIPS Act. So.
And then as far as the chart goes on Rigetti, this 2150 level that we have identified, what feels like months back, is still in play here. When it is under 2150, it shows weakness. And if it can get above that and maybe hold above it, maybe then we can actually do a trade to the upside.
Let's see here.
And then here, really quick. Sorry, 13. I was trying to do this. I know I'm like slow and behind you here. You guys were talking about Walmart. Sergeant Sexy, I would love to own Walmart under 100. Our 500-day moving average is literally right at 100 right now. We talked about waiting to see if this would recapture the 200 and give us an opportunity to buy that recapture. That never materialized. To me, it looks like the 500-day is next. I'd be trying that with you at 100.
Newlander, we can look at CEG just real quick. I see, Mike, the ETFs for Rigetti, the two that we've frequently talked about are RGTZ, that's the 2X short. The 2X long, we've spent less time talking about, that's RGTX. That's the Defiance dailies. There's other ETF instruments for trading this, but those are the ones we've used.
By the way, when it comes to watching or waiting for a stock to break below and then recapture one of its moving averages, well, whether it's a 500 or a 200 or whatever, this is what we're kind of looking for. So Palantir recently had that. We dipped below the 500. We recaptured it yesterday. Today, we're getting a little bit of extension. And lo and behold, that extension is taking us right to the 20-day. We also have a level there at 125. So this type of recapture that you see here on the Palantir daily chart, this is what we're looking for some of those larger names that recapture these moving averages.
And then real
got
quick,
a nice little follow through today on that.
With Constellation Energy, this still looks like this could head lower, but I don't think there's too much more downside to be had. This thing is getting to be pretty oversold. Still could see it come down, into towards 200. I really have a hard time seeing this go beneath 200 anytime soon. There may be some more downside that takes us like to 215, between 215 and 200. But when we get down there, then you start to enter some of these demand zones from last year and the year before. And I think that could provide some measure of support that starts to turn the price around. In addition to this being pretty oversold, I just really have a hard time seeing a whole lot more downside beyond 200. But I can see this falling a little bit more from here. Hey, no problem, New Blender.
Good stuff there on CEG.
I'm
going to flip back to the main workspace here real quick.
Jay Rice had a trivia question. Anybody want to take a stab at it?
The best insider buy this year?
Pretty big size, and it wasn't Gates buying more Nike.
Wasn't it
Gates?
Wasn't it the Palo Alto CEO?
I don't know, and I don't know that Gates bought Nike. I thought that was Cook, but maybe I missed Gates buying Nike, but I thought that was Cook that did it. Biggest insider buy, gosh. I know as soon as he says it, it's going to be like, oh, yes, of course. I'm just trying to think of some of the big names that...
Got to be this one. Got to be Nikesh Arora, CEO of Palo Alto Networks. Bought $10 million worth of stock at 146 on March 27th of this year. This stock is $353. That is more than a double. Let me know if you've got a better one than that, Jay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give up on that one because there's a number of names going through my head. Pan W, he got it. Good job, Ryan. Excellent. Sorry, I was just reading something about copper miners here. Because I'm really interested in copper miners for a different reason now. Because when you mine copper, there's a number of other metals that you kind of get as a bonus. Sometimes you get cobalt, sometimes you get silver. And I know I have a hard time pronouncing it, but molybdenum is another metal that is eventually set to replace silicon for chips. And I think I talked about this yesterday, but the compound that is being used is molybdenum disulfide. It's one molecule of molybdenum with sulfur molecules on each side. And this is supposed to be the future for getting chips down to sub 2, sub 1 nanometers. Because when you use silicon, you run into all kinds of physical constraints with electrons moving between transistors at that size. So with molybdenum disulfide, that is supposed to allow that chips to be made at a smaller scale and not run into those physical limitations that you are with silicon. So number of companies developing this. Micron is at the forefront in making this a reality. So one company to keep in mind there. But I also dug into which companies are actually mining this stuff. And actually, I can provide you with a watch list of the names that I've accumulated so far.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, and all these names have something to do with molybdenum. So here we are. And you'll probably recognize a bunch of them. There you are. So just something for everybody to look into if you want to. And I know I'm really, really far out with this, but this is looking like maybe a somewhere between like a 5 to 15 year play, because this is going to phase out silicon eventually, but it's going to be a long time before that happens. It's a very step-by-step process. You have TSM that's looking into this, IBM that's researching into this, Intel, Lam Research, very big into this, and then of course you have the companies that are picking this stuff up out of their minds. Southern Copper, Rio Tinto, Tech Industries, and Freeport-McMoran. So lots of different angles here to play this. But again, this is a very, very long-term, way far out in the semiconductor and material space. It's eventually going to replace silicon because of the physical constraints at nanometer scale.
Frozen King saying graphene was supposed to be the new chip material.
It was, and it's not. It's going to be a highly used material. It's going to be a great material, but it's not going to be the one that replaces it. And I don't think I can get too into it because I don't have all the information on why it's not going to work. But it's the bottom line is they're still looking at other materials, and molybdenum disulfide is now the one that's getting the most attention.
I would think if they're going to move over to that being like a primary material there, they would need to make sure that they have it sourced amply if it's going to be in those. I think that might be one of the biggest hurdles.
This is me planting a seed in everybody's mind right now. Now, as soon as they start looking into this, I'm sure that all kinds of things are going to open up to them, and it's going to be like, here's the future. Here's this. This is going to be very much a Where's Waldo kind of thing. We're looking for the next big trade, and as soon as you start seeing some of the dots being connected with this, it all start to make sense. But molybdenum disulfide, that's the next big thing that's coming in a couple decades.
Okay, interesting. I see Mike K mentioning ET. This was a mention from Tim Melvin here this morning. And SPY is still flirting with the 747 level, but it can't get above that. Does not have the strength to get above that.
What was the comment here on energy transfer?
Tim gave a bunch of energy stocks. He was saying how energy is going to continue, and he gave a bunch of kind of off the beaten path. I copied them earlier, but you know what? I didn't put it in Slack, so I would have to scroll up and find it.
I like Gene. That is always reminding me of this early lunch hour. Yes, we are getting close to the time where traders get up from their desks, go and start talking about how great their morning was, and going and getting ready to have lunch with all their colleagues. And I know that it seems pretty early. It's going to be 10:30 when we start to see volume drain. But, some people have an early lunch. Sometimes they call it brunch.
KNF, this is one of the movers from this morning. This has been pretty disappointing, but it is coming into the 65 EMA.
And ET, one of the stocks that I own. Love it. I agree with Tim. Natural gas is still going to be a massive player in energy for many, many years.
And so just to kind of further refine that, since you asked why he brought that up, one of the things that he was saying is that, natural gas is still a clean form of energy, and we're going to need it. We're not going to be able to rely solely on nuclear, wind, solar, and all. We're going to need natural gas, and ET is a big beneficiary.
And I have to know if maybe you can ask him for me, but I have to know if he's ever looked at Net Power Incorporated. That's ticker NPWR. This is the one that I'm really keeping an eye on, because if they've already got a test plant built that actually does what it's supposed to do, and if this whole process in the Permian, this whole build out in the Permian Basin, their planning ends up happening, I think this could be a pretty good stock. This is the one that is building the gas power plants that capture all the carbon emissions, and is going to sell those emissions that they capture right back to Occidental Petroleum, so that they can inject that CO2 into the ground and increase the production of natural gas and oil. I forget the name of the process this is called, but this is what they're doing in order to increase production. It allows that pressure allows for the natural gas and the oil to get squeezed out of the cracks that they're trapped in, and also doubles as a carbon capture, a means of carbon capture. By the way, sorry to go on a tangent here. SDOT hitting the trend line.
Blue carbon process. Thank you, Rochelle. Huge in my area of the world. Okay, awesome.
Now it looks like
look at the SDOT move 13.
Now my trend line is we're just going through it right now. So I think you have the trend line drawn to the underside of the price action yesterday. I have it kind of going through the middle a little bit here, but either way, that's fine. This went through my trend line. Now we'll see if it comes back in and finds support down around the 52 handle, 52, 53. Anyway.
Okay. Well, here. Register ring on SDOT. That was a great call here from this morning. And those morning movers gave us one.
Yep. Oh yeah. And this is one of the reasons
why we take a look at them every day, folks.
This is why and this wasn't even on the movers list, but it's one that has been trading really, really wildly over the past several days, and it didn't look like it was done. Being that it has a super low float, it could easily have gone through the trend line like it did, and it's going to easily come right back in like it has in previous days. So make sure that if you're trading this, you are paying yourself and not sticking around, because I don't know how long this party lasts in S-time.
This has been such a good move already. I would have definitely taken gains on this.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Eric. Hopefully you need some money on that. And yeah, it's about that time. It's about lunchtime, right, G-Man?
I was going to say, so 13, it is about that time to move over to the story trading gentleman here today. Do you have any closing words for the group?
Another wonderful day spending time here with y'all, and we'll be doing it again tomorrow. Maybe we do see more of this continued bullish activity if we are going to get some of a repeat of what we saw in 2024, being that the U.S. and Japanese rate are as high as they are. So we'll see what happens. Another great day. See you tomorrow, folks. Have a great rest of your morning. Bye-bye.
All right. 13, really good stuff here today. Thanks, as always. We will see you tomorrow. 13's departure leaves room for Ben. Let's go ahead and bring on Ben and Dougie Fresh. What's going on, boys? Where's Rhett?
What's up? I guess it's not here yet. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Boom.
that working?
It is.
All right. Trying to navigate these crazy volatile markets a little bit better. Kind of learning some new tricks. It's
Follow the
it's all
crowd.
about momentum. It's all about the crowd right now, and it's just crazy. I got to learn some new tricks, but I think I'm kind of pivoting a little bit to recognize the power of the crowd and the momentum trade. So you just got to be where the money's going. So making some adjustments.
That's right. Hey, the Wayne Gretzky approach, right? Skate to where the money's going, not to where it is right now.
Yep. All right, Ryan.
All right, is Rhett coming? Or is he
Probably.
out? Probably. I'll watch. I'll add him if he shows up, but I'll get out of your hair for right now.
All right, cool. All right, we got Dougie
Ben,
Fresh
crazy
here.
market, huh?
Correct, coming a little bit later. So just look at this power of the crowd and the momentum and influencers. Trump is basically the chief influencer with his purchase of Palantir. You can see that moving right up to the 20 DMA. There's Rhett. Then we have Serenity pushing CCXI like I've never seen before. I mean, it's crazy. Saying it's the Anthropic of the humanoid robotics, which I think is BS, to be honest with you. But the crowd loves it. And of course, we had this crazy money flow with AI data centers as Meta goes out there and says they're going to sell excess compute capacity, causing all these data center stocks to crash. Actually, I just sold. In fact, I got to alert it in the Discord. This will be my first put that I sold since we stopped the short put channel in the Discord. So I think I'm going to start up that channel again. I'm just going to put it as a trade alert for now in the regular trade alerts channel, and then we'll maybe start up that channel. But I just sold 210 puts a month out on NBIS for almost $20. Gets me in at 190 or break even. And if it closes above 220, it's an annualized yield of 110%. So I'm trying to take advantage.
Did he just freeze?
Yeah, I think we just lost Ben there, guys.
Ben freeze. All right. Well, I'll carry the show then. There you go.
Oh, there he is. All right, Ben, you're back.
No, I'm here. Yeah, no, I was just saying that I'm trying to capture the extreme volatility in these markets. So I'm starting up this thing we used to have in our Discord where we're selling cash secured puts. So I just did my first trade right now. I'll be alerting that soon after the show. I don't know if you caught that. The 210 strikes for like $19 on NBIS. We'll see if that works out. I really want to sell Rocket Lab puts as well, but in any case, yeah, it's all about money flow and influencers right now. This Meta, did I get back in Meta? I think I did, guys, but it's just common shares. Let me see if I got back in
right
Meta.
there, 615, almost 616.
So
again.
we made this our number one pick of the day. But I gotta say, those morning note picks were freaking wild. I wish I
stuck with some of those too.
Yeah. But yeah, we made Meta the number one, but we had VOYG in there, Voyager, and it exploded to the target. We had UMAC in there, exploded to the target. AVEX is in there, didn't yet explode to the target, but we had a bunch of really good picks in the morning note. But then we just got a little bit distracted with the Meta news, and we made Meta our number one pick, which is working. Just unfortunately, I don't have big size or nothing. Just got a few common shares here. So that's that. And what else? There's a couple other things I wanted to note here. I'm in SATL. The space sector is just exploding. Let's see if that SATL can hit the 20 DMA. And I'm not in PDRYM, but I'm watching that for a move to the 20 DMA after some recent news. AMPX is one that's kind of not working out. I thought this might move with UMAC. It's not. And ABVX Biotech, they raised money, $125. Just had data recently addressing concerns about cancer as a side effect. And that's a top pick of the day and not quite working out yet, just chopping around. I want to point out Axon made a killing on this. I just sold some this morning at 580 in pre-market. Wow, went to 596 and 590
right now.
I alerted this thing in around 400. We've been sitting on it since the earnings report here. What's that? Almost 2 months, but in our long-term ideas channel, that's closing in on a 50% return. So that one's working really well for. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it in the short-term trade account. All right, that's the high-level overview.
Here we go with Meta. 624 next target, guys.
That was my target. Yeah, 624 was our secondary target.
I just scalped some more.
620 was it? I don't know if it was clearly 624. You know what?
Nice.
Because I had like 620 to 624 kind of. All right, I'm gonna sell right here.
Yeah, I just sold.
All right, I was just selling right here. Oops, I hesitated for that. I didn't get to 620. Got like 619 and a half. But man, I need those to. On the flip side, I'm trying to buy the NBIS dip, and that's not working. So I'm kind of like giving up my meta gains on the other side of this. Should have stayed away from NBIS.
Yeah.
We tried to warn you earlier. Actually.
I know, and I got sucked back in. I thought it was like in here. It was breaking up above these trend lines. I'm like, okay, this is gone a little too far. And then
ASTS not looking good now, guys.
Looks like wow, it is going to 624, isn't it? Frick, I sold it at
yeah, I know. I sold those calls. That was in the 620s. I just sold those. What are they at now? 620s.
Wow.
Go back here.
Let's see. Let's see where that target's at. It's
that
right around here, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 624. I guess that's what I said this morning. 624.
Yeah, you said 624.
Wow, I should have stuck with that.
Why don't you
Jeez
just
Louise.
close your eyes and go have lunch and breakfast and come back right now.
Oh my gosh, should have just stuck with my target.
Yeah, I would say so.
Jeez, I just had a couple small scalps. I should have just like YOLO'd some the 0 DTEs there for 624. Wow, I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, wow, look at pounds here. I'm missing that. Got to 622.85. Wow, I'm out of it now. We'll see. Maybe there'll be another opportunity. Oh shit, this Chaz is not working. I had an opportunity to make some profit. Look at this. This trade is accelerating. The rotation out of the data centers into Meta looks like it's accelerating. It's 1037. I don't like that because I'm in a couple of these here. Let me check the other data center stocks. See if they've rebounded yet. Galaxy, wow, Hut is still going down. Iron's at the low day, Cypher low day, Core's low day, Keel low. It's accelerating, guys. The sell-off.
Yeah.
Look at CoreWeave and Wolf. Wow, dude, I don't know. I think this is a really stupid sell-off.
I don't know. I still think
catch the bottom. That's
moving averages, Ben.
Like, yeah, the 50 DMA and NBIS.
There's a lot of them. I think we just have to be patient and watch for the bottoms. There'll be opportunities for sure, you know that, but I don't think you want to catch that falling knife today.
Yeah, this market's crazy.
And this market's a little too volatile and crazy. Exactly.
It is. It's like up and down 10-20% a day. I mean, that is really hard.
We're not on the right side of it.
Look at AIoT still going up on the catalyst that we put in our morning note. Unfortunately, I didn't make it a top. I mentioned it this morning that it could really outperform today, but I didn't take it and I didn't make it an official pick. Coming right up to that 450, really reasonably valued Internet of Things AI stock with a buyback this morning. Damn, I missed that one. On the radar.
I added and I pinged people in long-term accounts is Zeta. Look that one up. That's a good one. I like that long term. We'll see. I mean, there's a little bit of worry there, but at the same time, overall,
8%. Oh, nice move today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been adding under $20. It's pretty much an AI-powered marketing technology company.
Was there news today on it? What caused the pop today?
Pretty much. Hold on, I'm getting messages from people. It's pretty much just fall. It's going to be following Palantir and stuff like that because they also just had a huge $100 million deal with Palantir.
Is IGV exploding because Exxon? All these names are up. Yeah, IGV up 3.5% above the. Yeah, that's the same chart as IGV. Zeta chart. Yep, same chart. Same exact chart as IGV.
Companies.
Holy crap. Look at these charts.
Yeah, look at now.
They're literally identical, IGV and Zeta.
Yep.
Wow. That's something.
And
Palantir is getting a tailwind from that. Axon's getting a tailwind from that. So
Service now, that's looking real good.
Big rotation into AI software this morning.
Snowflakes ripping.
Yeah. I may honestly look to reduce a little bit.
Well, I missed that.
What's Oracle up to? That's actually down right now.
I missed that rotation.
That's setting up. Yeah, we got Oracle setting up, guys. Oracle's about to get ripping soon. I don't know if
Yeah.
it'll
Go
happen
back
this
in.
week, but it's getting set
This
up.
is a really tough market, man. It's
Long
all about
term.
rotations. If you're on the wrong side of the rotation, you're down
You're in trouble.
15%. If you're on the right side of it, you're up 15%. It's really crazy.
You're on the right
Or-
side of it. You're dancing around your house, and when you're on the
Yeah.
wrong side of it, you want to bash your head through the wall.
This is
That's the
craziest
kind of
thing I've
market
ever-
we're in right now.
Literally the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 30 years. These
Yeah.
rotations are just
nuts.
insane.
It is nuts.
Rocket Lab on the dip. Getting close to the point where I might want to sell some puts. Let me see. Let's see if those Rocket Lab $80 puts are still available at that price I was looking at yesterday. So
Yeah, that
$80.
SMCI pulling back.
July 31st.
Yeah.
I should have sold them yesterday. They're $2.40. Yesterday I was looking at this. They're $4. Got cut in half. Oh well.
You know, it's going to be a great one, and it's obviously already
Okay,
ran up
touch
a
me,
lot,
touch
but
me,
we'll
touch
keep an
me.
eye on Dell for a little pullback here, because if SMCI gets destroyed, which I think it's going to, with that whole
Look at
with the whole,
SanDisk down 10%. Palantir. Well, we're on live stream, Rhett, just like 45 minutes ago. I'm like, this has another $2 to go
Yep.
to the 20
Palantir?
DMA. I didn't
Oh,
do a
yeah.
thing about it.
Yeah, neither
Yeah.
did I. I thought
Me
we were
either.
going to see a little bit of a pullback, but no.
I
Yeah, I
another
thought the same
$2
thing.
to go. Did nothing about it. What's wrong with me?
Right, I thought the same thing when you said it. I was like, I might pull
Gosh.
back a little. I'll try to catch the dip. Nope, it went straight up. I mean, it had a little pullback to the
Man,
50,
everything
but
these days is either straight up or straight down.
straight
It's
down.
really tough.
and
Really
it's so
tough
hard to
market,
grab it
guys.
when it's like running vertical. Like, we're just not, I mean, especially the way we trade. We're not trained to do things like that. So
No, I'm not.
our
Don't
brains
get
aren't
me,
trained to do that. Let's put it that way.
ASPS is a
UMAC.
buy yet.
I'm watching UMAC for a pullback up. It flew past the 20 DMA, and we're looking for a government support, either an equity investment or loan or something on UMAC soon, based on earlier reporting about a month ago. So maybe somebody knows something, because these are some crazy moves here in UMAC the last couple of days.
Yep.
Pullback, RSI resetting here on the 1 minute. I don't know. Maybe Rhett, I'm thinking about a day trade here on
For,
UMAC.
for which one? UMAC?
Yeah.
UMAC?
I own
I
a
think
lot of
there's-
this in my long-term account, but it's not in my trade account right now, sadly.
I'm looking for a little bit. You have some support coming up around like 84.75 for ASTS. Let's see what we do around that level. Izzy was asking me there. So we'll see what happens.
All right, I just got into UMAC for a quick scalp.
There's a bunch of stuff.
ASTS, hold on, I'm getting killed on Shaz. I may have to take a loss.
Yeah, UMAC, actually, you're probably right, Ben. That does look good for a quick scalp right there. About to get running
Damn, I
back
may
up.
have to take a loss on SHAZ. It's just not working.
That was up earlier. I thought you
I
were
know.
locking them in.
I should have locked it in.
Yeah.
I should have locked it in, but they're still punishing these AI infrastructure stocks.
Yeah, I don't think these moves are over, but also if you have a longer term time frame, these dips will be bought up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Look at Meta. Meta curled back to the highs right here.
Yep.
There's our 624 target. There it is. Without
There
me.
it comes.
Man,
There it
yeah,
is.
man, I feel
We called it
stupid
this
not playing
morning.
this for 624.
That's crazy. Number one pick of the day, 624 target.
Exactly what we said.
And
none
all
of
I
us-
did
no-
was just
all three of us got out
calls.
early.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't even do big size.
Me either.
Everything I made in Meta, I lost in
Oh,
Shaz
God.
and then BIS and then some. I can't believe it.
Holy mackerel.
And look at Palantir hit the target, and I didn't do anything about that either. Tough market, man, to act.
Yeah.
It is
It
a tough
seems like
market
the
to
ones
act
you
with all this
react
volatility,
on
guys.
don't do what you want them to, and the ones that you're like, I'll watch it just go and do exactly what I said.
Yeah,
It does exactly what I said.
623.94, 6 cents shy of our target. Wow. What do you look at that?
People want our IWM thoughts, and then Jay Rice is saying
I'm on green
DBYN.
I kept a green signal. So what are my thoughts? My thoughts are we're in a bull market. That's my thoughts. I'm not going to give you a specific level that I think IWM can go to today or nothing. That's not what I do. But all the indices are above their 20 DMA, and I'm watching TLT in case of any warning signs, but barely hanging in there. USO keeps coming down. USO looks like it wants to head to the 200 DMA. So we're in a green signal. Indices above the 20 DMA. All engines go for stock picking and trading. That's my IWM thoughts for now.
Someone in our community just shorted MBIS.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah, that goes for him.
Yeah.
Been killing it recently. So
yeah, I don't like. I lost. Man, I'm out of MBIS. Shaz and MBIS. Look, it's just accelerating this move out of. It's moving out of the data center and infrastructure, and not only into Meta, but it's moving into the SaaS companies, like you were just pointing out with Zeta, Palantir, and IGV. So that's the rotation for the day, based on this Meta catalyst. It seems like. So yeah, not fun. I'm not really on the right side of that, except for the couple scalps in Meta. Man, Axon is just incredible. I gotta sell. As RSI still looks good, but I gotta reduce Axon in my kids' accounts. I loaded them up a couple $100 ago, and it's like 25% of their accounts now.
Not a bad thing after the last few days, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're doing better than me. My retirement account's doing better than me. It's been too hard for me to trade lately with this volatility. Not doing well with it. All right, let me see. A quick scalp in UMAC here. Got in at 23.27. Hardly worth it, but I think I'm going to take
indices.
it. I'm going to take it 20 cents, 23.27, 23.67, 30 cents.
There goes UMAC up there.
23.73. Cool. I just took almost a 50-cent scalp.
Looks like it's going to pop up a little more, but there you go, everybody. How about that little scalp live on the show tonight?
Hold on a second. Oh, that was not bad. 23.27 to 23.73. I'll take that right live on the show.
Definitely live. And it's hitting that 50 is probably. I don't know. It could go either way.
Oh my gosh, Palantir broke the 20 DMA. Damn it. I think they're going to send CCXI over 20, and I think it's completely ridiculous, but
damn, look at Palantir.
But I think they're going to do it. Shit, I grabbed some red wire earlier too. Shoot. It's not really working. Look at Axon over 603.
I know.
Holy smokes. Okay, I gotta sell some Axon here for my kids. This is getting a little crazy. Let me see where they're at. Axon. Yeah, 27% of the account. That's a little much. 58% gain. All right, I'm gonna sell half the Axon for child number 1. Let's go to child number 2. See what their Axon's looking at. 18% of the account, not as bad. No, I wasn't as aggressive with my other child there. Let me sell a little bit of that too over here. Sell a little Axon here, and let me check child number 4. Axon is at 20%. All right, I'll shave a little bit off over here too. Oh, they got a lot of cash right now.
That's always a good problem.
Okay, so
it's not a problem ever.
Some nice profit taking, trimming, and Axon. Look at Palantir. What a missed up.
Yeah, since we watched it go up and
I mean, I don't know. I guess I just got it wrong. I just didn't think that Trump. I mean, there were lots of big caps he was in. I guess. I guess
going on.
I guess Palantir stood out in terms of being a smaller cap, relatively speaking, compared to all those mega caps he was in, and I guess they're running it. I just thought, okay, Palantir is one of the mega caps. In my mind, I was like thinking it that way, and he's in all of them. So like, why would Palantir pump on that? And I guess I was wrong. Oh man, missed opportunity, up 9% on the Trump pump here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, holy smokes!
What a market, right?
It's just this. The rotations are so extreme. They're so extreme with these 10, 15% moves. in individual stocks every day. It's just insane. It's insanity if you're if you know how to time it. Yeah, like you're killing it. Look at Meta. Oh shit! Now Shaz is coming back after I took my loss. Damn it!
Of course.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Axon's crazy. Holy smokes. Let's see. Maybe this one will pay. I'm still in it from $43. Borrowing this idea from Jonah Lupton. Nice catalyst this morning. I like the chart. A pharma company, product launch, or biotech. I don't know. But I like the chart and I like the catalyst. And Jonah had a couple of reasons why he liked it. And then I saw the chart and I'm like, okay, this could be an easy shot to 44.68, 44.50. We'll see if we get there. We're at $43 since pre-market.
STS holding that level.
IWM trying to rip back up here. The indices are wild today.
Yeah, look at Tesla making a new high. I think 440 is coming in the coming days.
Tesla.
Be able to see.
Yeah. I put that news in the morning note this morning, but it did not make it a top pick. Damn.
So someone's saying if you like UMAC, check out PUSA.
Yeah, I mean, I never did the research on it. I know they're associated with each other. I mean, I like UMAC better because it's more legit, and they're going to be getting the government support soon.
Isn't Trump's kids involved in this PUSA company?
I think via UMAC, probably. I mean,
okay.
It's Eric and Donald Jr.
Are they directly involved in PUSA or just via UMAC?
I believe directly.
Okay, I don't remember. I didn't really research this.
They're involved in like a lot of companies. Like so, it used to be a golf company. I know that, and then they changed it over, and I'm pretty sure they're involved. I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure I remember saying that.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I haven't had time to research this, but
let's see, yeah, are directly involved through their investment and advisory relationship.
Oh my gosh, Palantir is just nonstop. Oh my gosh, Palantir and
look at that thing.
Look, I own Palantir. I hope I own. I better own Palantir long term. Hold on, let me see if I still own it.
I hope everyone sold that UMAC on that pop because it just pulled back.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I own Palantir. I own UMAC. I got I own a ton of Axon. So like my long term accounts. Doing well. Actually, I don't own Meta. I don't think. No, I don't own Meta. But wait a second. Do my kids own Meta? I think I may have had Meta for them. Yeah, well, my kids have Meta, though. Man, my kids' portfolio is freaking awesome. So, yeah, man. This is tough trading market. Because also, like, when the flows go in a certain direction, it's just so hard for me to play it. Because, like, you're gapping up 5%. And then it goes up all day long, 10, 15, 20. And you have these like big cap. Look at this. Like a mega cap in Meta that's 1.5 trillion trading like a meme stock or an altcoin. It's hard for me to chase it to the upside. So like even when I recognize the rotation, I'm just so hesitant with the size. Because I'm like, well, isn't that enough? Like 5-6% in a mega cap in a couple hours, and it just keeps going. So this is a very, very challenging market for me.
625, about to be there. Wow, that's crazy. We were saying that this morning.
Yeah, I gave 624. I didn't. Let me see. Should we upgrade? That's close enough. I don't think I want to upgrade the target. I think that was good enough. Let me go to the 4-hour chart again. I mean, at this point, I guess there's a possibility go challenge these candles up here, but I wouldn't bet on it in low 640s. But I think I would not bet on that. Oh, it looks great though. High and tight.
Remember, I said if the Fed reaction was good, it could run up to that like 640 area, 630, 640.
Yeah, that's the next area, 640. low
I guess the
640s.
reaction wasn't terrible today, so
Meta's still going.
Yeah, look
what
at
I'm
that. Now
talking about.
625.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's the number one pick of the day, and I'm completely
Watching
out.
it go.
Completely out. And look at this continued.
An IGV.
Yeah, no, the continued sell off in the AI infrastructure names.
Yeah, I think he just covered half of his puts. Hold on, let me see.
Wow.
Yeah, half off MBIS puts.
Who did that?
Who did that?
Trader Joe?
Yeah, Trader Joe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when I said he got him.
He's
Wow.
There's a
He's an
bunch
animal.
of people. Did you talk about the valuation yet? Of
What?
Palantir. People are asking, do you your Palantir's valuation, or you think it's overvalued?
Yeah, it is crazy over Valley. That's why I missed most of this ride. And over the last couple of years, I freaking called the bottom in Palantir live on my show at like $7 or $8 when there was an inflection ER and they were like inflecting on profitability. I'm like, that's it. The bottom's in. We're up from here. But then I sold it at like $20 and I missed the ride to 200. But I got back in my retirement account. Let me see what price on the recent pullback. Let me see here. I got back in on April 10th at around 130. I'm back, so I didn't even get the bottom. It was around here. It was this pull here. On this is when I got in on this drop here. Worked for a while, pull back. I've just been holding it since then. My retirement account, so I'm getting back close to break even. So yeah, it's crazy overvalued. That's why I missed this whole ride from like 20 to 200. It's tough. But it's going to have a sentiment premium. That's it. The bottom line is going to have a permanent sentiment premium like Tesla. There's CCXI. They're going to pump that to 20 plus. Man. All right, let me check these Rocket Lab puts now. July 31st. $80. They're barely moving now. 260. I really should have sold them 2 days ago or yesterday when I was looking at these. They were $4.
They were way up.
Hold on a second. Must have been 2 days ago when we were doing this math.
Did ASTS break below that key level?
Yeah, it was Monday morning. It was Monday morning. Palantir puts were $4. That's when I should have sold it.
Palantir.
Not Palantir, I'm sorry. Rocket Lab puts.
Rocket Lab, yeah. MSTR was ripping, now pulling back. Look, I think you guys can definitely really short the pops on MSTR. I don't think this move is done yet for Bitcoin. I think we still have a little more room to the downside.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah,
Hold on. Let me try UMAC again.
Holy cow, look at ASTS getting destroyed right there.
Yeah, it lost that key level.
Yeah.
It's getting ASTS, let me go here.
All right, back in UMAC for a trade. It's 2276. Wow, Lunar's down 5%. This is a crazy tough market. Look at this. It's just so perilous. I mean, I see AMPX not working for me. I'm on the wrong side of that right now.
Yeah, we talked about CCCX, CCXI a little bit ago.
Yeah. 20. Then, I'm in small. I just can't bring myself to do this in any kind of real size because this is such a crazy BS pump by Serenity. He has some good ideas, but my problem with most of his ideas is that these companies are nowhere near profitability, or in many cases, not even near like scaled revenue growth. Like even as Sivers, it's like very speculative. And humanoid robots, come on, give me a break. I mean, it's such bullshit. And is out there saying it's like the Anthropic of humanoid robots. Like you have to listen to him because he has 1 million followers.
So he moves
markets.
Pumped.
Dude, he moves sectors. He causes sector rotations. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But his thesis is trash. I'm sorry. Like, I don't say his thesis is trash, but like normally stocks don't trade on we might inflect to revenue growth and profitability 5 years from now. Like, that's not how the stock market has ever worked unless you're Tesla. Like, Tesla is the only stock ever, okay, and maybe Palantir, that have gotten that kind of treatment to say we're willing to pay based on what happens 5 to 10 years from now. But he does it with every single stock. He's like, let's make this the next Tesla. This is the Anthropic. 10 years from now, there's going to be humanoid robots. This is my favorite stocks. Let's pump it to like $1 trillion. I mean, it's just crazy what he's doing. It's just makes me angry. It does. And I refuse to participate in his picks for the most part, maybe to my own detriment. But it's just retarded.
I don't follow him, but
it's just retarded. Like if he went out there and he likes NBIS, great. They're like inflecting revenue right now. I'm an NBIS, superb. Reddit, I just got an alert, up 10%. I was in that before he mentioned it. He likes Reddit. I love Reddit. Okay, Reddit's inflecting right now, really cheap stock. All right, there's a few there, but like most of the stuff he harps on are things that are like a decade out, which is just ridiculous.
Wow, look at this Amazon running right now. Also, guys, are we going to go? We're wrapping it up. I was going to say, I thought we go to 11. It's 11:01. Not sure if we're supposed to wrap it up ourselves, or I wasn't on the beginning.
No,
of the
there's
show.
another show coming right now.
It's at 11.
That's
not sure.
Holy cow.
So we'll just
Post is here to end. All right.
today.
Any final thoughts? We got to end it up really quick. We're over.
No, final thoughts is, hey, this market's hard, and
trade smart,
I don't know
lock in
what
your
to tell you.
profits. How about that?
Long term accounts great, short term challenging for me. We got to figure it out.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll take care. The host is going to end it, and then send you guys to the next segment of the show for Benzinga. Take care.
All right, take care.
Have a good day, everyone.